patrol.
Howdy everybody and welcome to White Bear Lake Stadium, home to the Bears. Tonight the Cougars from Centennial are in town to take on your White Bear Lake Bears in the season kickoff. Alongside John Miller, I'm Jeb Brand. Glad to have you with us.
Yeah, it should be a good game.
Absolutely. Picture perfect night to kick off the high school football season. As we look at the weather tonight, John, couldn't ask for a better night.
Nope, 68 degrees, perfectly sunny, barely any wind. Weather will not be an impact on this game at all.
That should be a good one. Let's take a look at how the teams finished up in the 2016 standings as we take a look at the Metro North standings from last season. You can see Totino Grace finished at an impressive 8-0.
Yeah, the Metro North is a very tough conference. As you can see, last year Centennial finished 3-4, 4-4 overall. They did win one section game, but then they lost their second round game. Very tough conference. Totino Grace is always a very good team. They go to the state tournament mostly every year.
We look over at the Metro East standings where your White Bear Lake Bears play out of. Not the greatest season last year. Looking to build on that this year, John, is last year unable to find a victory.
Yeah, as you can see, White Bear Lake, they went 0-8 last year, 0-7 in the conference, but they're in a very tough Metro East Conference. East Ridge, Cretin-Derham Hall, Mounds View, Stillwater, all good teams. In order to survive this year, they're going to have to upset some of these teams in order to have a better year.
Certainly will, as we take a look at the upcoming schedules for the Centennial Cougars. Next week, Friday night, they'll take on the ever so tough Totino Grace.
Yeah, Totino Grace, always a tough team next week. Centennial, finishing in the middle of the pack. In order to see how good they are this year, they're going to have to show up against Totino Grace next week.
As we look at the Bears' upcoming schedule after tonight's battle with the Cougars, they will head out and take on Osseo next Friday night.
Yeah, I guess if you look at this, White Bear Lake is going to have to win their non-conference games. They have a very tough Metro East Conference. If they're going to beat anybody, you'd look at a team like Woodbury, maybe Roseville, but I don't see them beating, East Ridge or Cretin-Derham Hall this year.
And we take a look at a couple of the feature players tonight for the visiting Cougars of Centennial. The senior 6'4" quarterback Ryan Koob returns.
Yeah, Ryan Koob, he's replacing the graduated leading passer Kyle Nordby. Nordby finished the year with about 700 yards passing. So Koob has some big shoes to fill, and we see how he does tonight.
And for the Bears, as they graduated a lot of seniors in 2016, they're looking to see who's going to step up and be that key go-to for head coach Ryan Bartlett and the Bears.
Yeah, you'd think for an 0-8 team last year, they would have been very young. A lot of juniors, a lot of sophomores, but no, they had a lot of seniors last year. So we're looking for some new players to step up tonight, and we'll see throughout the game which players are going to rise to the occasion.
Should be a good one tonight as we kick off the high school football season and a picture-perfect night. The Ponies, the Bears, kickoffs next.
My name is Blake. I received a heart transplant when I was 2 weeks old. I play defense for the Red Hot Tornadoes. The best part about playing soccer is that I get to run around and have fun. Just because I had a heart transplant, I don't expect people to take it easy on me. I can still do anything they can do. Sometimes my heart starts pounding like faster and faster as I go. I know I have someone else's heart inside me. It makes me feel happy because someone was generous enough to give me a second chance to live. I feel like it's my responsibility to live each day to the fullest. And the thing I look forward to the most is having my own family.
This gift of life was made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
I am a veteran, and my victory was finding the strength to be a champion.
I am a veteran. My victory is having a job I can be proud of.
America's veterans are on their most important tour, the tour of their lives.
My victory was finishing my education.
Mine
is proving a disability is not a limitation.
At DAV, we're on a mission to help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
My victory is having my new battle buddy.
As veterans face their challenges, DAV is there to help for victories great and small.
I'm a veteran, and my victory is getting the help I needed to put my life back together.
DAV offers veterans of all generations a lifetime of support.
I am a veteran. My victory is being there for my family.
When America's veterans win, we all win. Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Welcome back as we get set to kick off the 2017 high school football season on a picture-perfect night. John, should be a good one tonight. The Ponies and the Bears, we get set to kick.
Yeah, two teams with a clean slate. Let's get this underway.
And we're off. The 2017 season is underway as fielded it back at the 7. It's picked up by Fidel, and he's taken down just across, down at about the 13. And we'll have our first look at the White Bear Lake offense.
There's some good special teams coverage on that one to get down there immediately, stopping before the 20.
As we get set to start here, Daniel Lyons, the senior quarterback for the Bears, is in the shotgun motion. Zachary Griebel is back in the tailback position. And it's a handoff to Griebel, and he's met immediately at the line of scrimmage. May have lost a yard on the opening play.
Yeah, it looks like they did a little run option, and Centennial was in the backfield before White Bear Lake knew what to do with the ball.
That'll bring up 2nd and 10, so no loss on the play as Lyons again from the shotgun. 2-step back as the pass is complete. And that one's to Russell Schuler as he takes it up and is taken down. A little bit of positive yardage for the Bears.
It looked like a little fake draw screen pass. Fortunately, Centennial read that all the way.
Again, no positive yardage as we bring up our first 3rd and 10. Again, Lyons out of the shotgun. Man in motion is Logan Fike.
Yeah, Lyons replacing leading passer Tristan Dacus, who graduated last year. He was their leading passer.
Nice dump off from Lyons to Griebel, and he's able to take it up for some positive yardage. I don't think he had enough for the first down. As we take another look.
If you look at Lyons, he just finds the open man. Unfortunately, Griebel wasn't able to make enough moves. I mean, he had the blockers out there. They should have just kept blocking forward instead of looking backwards. That could have had the potential to be a huge play.
Absolutely. They bring in the punt team, and so Alexander Moore is back to do the kicking for the Bears. The first possession for the Bears ends up in a punt, and it's a short one out across the 50, but it gets away from the Centennial Cougars player, and they'll have it down at about the 34, so good yardage by the punt team as they got a positive bounce and a little miscue by the Cougars.
Yeah, very favorable bounce on that. White Bear Lake real lucky that it got past the Centennial return man. Let's see what Centennial can do with good field position, setting up at about the 34.
As we'll get our first look at the Centennial Cougars offense. And the quarterback for the Cougars as they rely heavily on senior number 7, Ryan Koob.
Yeah, definitely. They like to pass the ball, but they rushed a lot last year as well. They had 2 dominant running backs. We'll see who steps up as those running backs graduated last year as well.
And so Koob out of the shotgun, man in motion. Koob keeps it himself out across the 40, and nearly a first down. A good start for the Cougars on their opening possession.
Yeah, Koob just taking the open lane, picking up the first down. That's what you like to see out of your senior quarterback on the first play of the game.
He did have enough for the first, so it'll bring up 1st and 10 from the 45. Is Koob again out of the shotgun. 2 receivers set, 1 wide right, 1 left, and it's again a keeper by Koob for positive yardage, and he's up across the 35. Again, will move the chains, and the Cougars are heading downfield.
Yeah, Jeb, it looks like they ran the same exact play, a little quarterback read option, fakes it to the running back, and he hits the same exact hole for a gain of about 25 yards.
So early on here, a couple of quarterback keepers has fooled the Bears. The Cougars have moved the chains. Again, it brings up 1st and 10 from the Bears 34. Coob again out of the shotgun. A man in motion. This time it's a handoff up the middle, and it's taken by Sam Bonfie as he's able to pick up some positive yardage for the Cougars.
Yeah, Sam Bonfie just plugging away, taking what the defense gives him. He actually picks up a solid 5 yards on that one.
8:38 remaining here in the first quarter, and opening night between the Bears and the Cougars from White Bear Lake Stadium. 2nd and 4, ball on the 28. Again, Coob out of the shotgun. The single tailback and the 2 receivers set. Man in motion. Again, they look to Coob. There's a fumble. Wide ball out. It's kicked around a bit, and it's a scrum.
I think Centennial popped back on it, Jeb.
Fortunate bounce for the Cougars as the Bears had a handful of guys bouncing around there, but just couldn't get a handle on it.
Yeah, there's about 4 or 5 White Bear Lake players. They all did the right thing. They didn't try to pick it up and run. They all tried to dive on the ball. Unfortunately, just kept bouncing. Centennial got a lucky break to get back on it.
That they did. It looked like Coob, as we take another look, last second may have had second thoughts about handing it off, and it nearly cost him.
It looks like he was going to pitch it there. Fortunately, he just slipped out of his hand.
Now Coob to the right, throws, and it's just out of the reach. A good-looking play, but just over the head of Andrew Stewart, the intended receiver. Stewart flanked out, had a little bit of breathing room, but Coob just missed him.
Yeah, 3rd and 11. Coob looks to, he rolls out to his weak side. He's a left-handed thrower. He displayed a cannon on the run right there. Unfortunately, he was just a little too high for the short running back.
So it'll bring up 4th and 11 from the 36. It looks like the Cougars will indeed bring out the special teams. As Gunnar Fisher's back to punt. Kick is up. It's a line drive bullet into the right corner. And good job by the Cougars to get down there. The ball is tapped down by Jared Peterson.
For a high school football punt, that's about as good as you can get. That was very impressive. Pinning him down right inside the 5-yard line. White Bear Lake is going to have no room to work with.
So the Bears do a nice job, and they create the fumble there, which caused some negative yardage for the Cougars as they came out hot and were marching right down the field. The Bears able to hold them. And now we'll see what they can do on their second possession.
Yeah, the Bears really had no answer to the Cougars' offense. Fortunately for them, they got the fumble.
As they step back, a pass over the middle, it's complete. And some positive yardage there as the intended receiver, number 29. Nevertheless, it's good for a completion. So Daniel Lyons again has come out and made some passes. Again, a little swing pass now is up through the middle and a good looking play up across the 15. Able to pick up a few yards. As that time the receiver was Blake Charles with the catch.
Yeah, looks like White Bear Lake's going to run the hurry up offense here.
Good for a first down as they hand it off now, and some inside running, able to pick up a few yards. A good run by the Bears for some positive yardage. They're starting to get some offensive momentum going here in their second possession.
Yeah, the Bears have, they've been doing some short passing. I think that's the way they're going to beat Centennial today. Centennial's just got some bigger linemen than White Bear Lake does.
Again, now Lyons out of the shotgun. And Greibel lines up to his left. 3 receivers set, 2 wide right, 1 left. He drops back. They're going to go deep. They've got a man wide open, and it's caught across the 50. And he'll take it down to nearly the 20. A beautiful looking play. First down Bears on the big catch by the no-name man in number 29.
Yeah, it looked like number 29. You'll see Lyons does a pump fake. He draws the defender's eyes. And then number 29 just goes deep down the sideline. Looks like it was a little stutter and go. Beautiful pass. Leaves it enough time for number 29 to get under it. Goes for about 20 more yards after that. A good, nice 40, 50-yard gain.
So on their second possession now, Lions out of the shotgun, handoff, Greibel, left side, he's got some yardage and he takes it up to about the 10, a good piece of running. And again, it'll move the chains for the Bears as they're now in the red zone here on their second possession.
Yeah, nice run by Greibel right there. He hits the hole real hard, gains a pick up the 12.
So after a slow start for the Bears, they've come out red hot here. Now is Lions again. The handoff to Greibel up the middle, and it's good for a couple of yards. The Cougars able to shut the gap, and that'll bring up second and about 9, I'd say.
You know, I like what this White Bear Lake offense is doing right now. They're playing a very, very fast hurry-up game. You know, Centennial has bigger linemen, so if they can keep those guys gassed and keep them on the field, they can catch them sleeping.
Looks like the Bears here are going to audible at the line. Again, Lions out of the shotgun. Greibel right behind him. 2 receivers right to left, and Lions will keep it himself right up the middle. Greibel, excuse me, on the carry. Again, good for a couple of yards.
Got to imagine this is 4-down territory, Jeb. I mean, there's not very many field goals in high school football.
Absolutely. It brings up 3rd and 4 from the 5. The Bears looking to answer on their second possession here at home. A nice crowd for opening night on a picture-perfect, beautiful evening.
You look for Lions to take this himself.
There he is, Lions now, and he's met just inside. Touchdown, Bears!
I'm not going to say I called that, Jeb, but I think I just called that.
An absolute beautiful call by my partner, Johnny Miller, as Daniel Lyons on the keeper is able to cash in pay dirt from 5 yards out, and the Bears jump out to an early 6-0 lead.
Yeah, 2 straight running back draws, sets up the quarterback keeper. You know, they're keying in on the running back. Lions, you know, he takes it, gains about 4 yards, keeps himself, gets stopped right before the goal line, stretches over. Great job there by Lions.
So the Bears strike first on a second possession keeper by Daniel Lyons as they bring in the field goal unit. And Lions will hold back to kick for the Bears. And the kick is up and it's blocked right at the line, unable to get some air under it. And so they'll have to settle for 6 here early on. He has a low-lining kick by number 94 for the Bears. And that's Nicholas Blanding, unable to get some air underneath it.
Yeah, Jeb, I'm a firm believer in high school football. You know, the kickers aren't that great. You normally should go for 2. I mean, Eastridge has one of the best kickers in the league. That guy can kick 50 yards. But a lot of these kids, they don't practice this stuff every single day. Going for 2 is your best option.
Nonetheless, the Bears come out. They do get 6. 4:15 remaining here in the opening quarter. And for a Bears team, John, that struggled to find a W last year, this is a great start for 2017.
Yeah, it sure was. You know, they ran that up-tempo offense. It really kept the defense gassed. They couldn't make any rotations, and they just pounded away. And then they had that one big deep pass, and, you know, it worked.
And we take a look at the schedule as we have a moment here before the kickoff. Next week out in Osseo, and then the ever-so-tough Eastridge Raptors the following week. So tough schedule ahead for the Bears, but can't complain with a open second possession drive is certainly how they want to kick off this 2017 season. And a good kick down to about the 10, and it's held on there by number 21 above the Cougars as he takes it up the right side. Still on his feet up across the 45, nearing midfield. Andrew Renicky with the return, and a good one at that.
Yeah, Renicky labeled as a offensive lineman and a running back with a great return. He had a wide open lane. You know, they had a little fake handoff there, fake reverse on the kickoff. I think it got the defense to bite just a little bit in order to create that hole, and he hit it hard. And I think if he would have just went left a little bit, turned direction, I think he could have been gone. But nonetheless, great return to set his team up at the 46.
1st and 10 for the Cougars as Coob comes back onto the field, looking to answer a second possession score by the Bears. Man in motion, and Koob again is going to hold it himself. He kicks it out to the right side and able to pick up a few yards as he crosses midfield, and he's taken down by the Bears.
Yeah, like Koob, he's able to read the defense. I mean, that's what you like to see out of your senior quarterback in his first start. He reads the defense, he keeps the ball himself, and he takes what the defense gives him, picks up a solid 6 yards. So if he would have handed it off, the running back would have had about 3. So nice gain there by Koob.
Brings it up across midfield. It brings up 2nd and 5 for the Cougars. Koob again out of the shotgun. Man in motion. And again, Koob is going to hold on to it, this time only able to pick up a yard or 2. A nice job by the Bears, sniffing out the keeper that time.
Yeah, I think the Bears, I mean, you just key in on Koob until he actually hands it off to the running back.
Koob yet to really drop back and show off the arm, other than that that opening drive where he had just missed the intended receiver deep. But so far, everything has been on the ground for the Cougars. 3rd and 3, and again, Koob's going to hold on. This time, the Bears defense steps up, and it's negative yardage. A great job by White Bear Lake, as that's going to force the Cougars on a tough decision from midfield.
Yeah, great job by the defense. As I said, you just key in on Koob until he proves that he's going to hand the ball off. He takes it himself. Either way, it was going to be not a very good gain or even loss of yards. Nice step up by the nice containment right there for the White Bear Lake defense.
Quentin Summers was the first man in for the Bears. Did a nice job of stopping any positive yardage for the Cougars. Is now back to kick. And again, this one a bit off the foot, but a good yardage. Is going to get a great kick down and just into the end zone. A nice job by the special teams, but unable to keep it out. And so it will be a touchback. The Bears will start at their own 20 here with 2:06 left to play first quarter.
Yeah, nice hustle by Jared Peterson there. Unfortunately, just wasn't able to keep the ball in play.
And John, we take a look at the Cougars' upcoming schedule. Next week, at home to take on Totino Grace, and then on the road to take on Anoka.
Yeah, Totino Grace is always a great team. I mean, if this Centennial team doesn't beat White Bear Lake today, you know, a team that has won 0 games last year and 2 games the year before that, if they can't beat White Bear Lake, they're going to have a rude awakening against Totino Grace.
The Bears coming out hot here, ready to make 2017 their new year as they swing one out to the side. 81 with the catch, and a good one at that. Able to pick up a couple of yards. Blake Charles with the catch, the 6'3" tall man, senior receiver for the Bears.
Yeah, White Bear Lake with some nice tall wide receivers out here. They like to do that quick slant. They're going to go back to the hurry-up offense, and it's going to gas this Centennial defense. They've now been on the field for quite some time.
A handoff now to Greibel as he's able to pound his way up through the middle, nearing a first down. Took it up to just about the 30th, and we'll get a quick mark here and see if they had enough to move the chains.
Yeah, Greibel just hitting the hole, turning those feet, gain a solid about 9 yards. Ooh.
A tough break for the Bears as holding was the call, so that it'll back them up slightly. It'll bring up 2nd and 8 from the 22.
That's not what you want to have. You know, your offense is getting a rhythm, and now you're looking at 2nd and 15. That's not what you like to see.
1:21 left to play here in the opening quarter. The Bears with a 6-0 lead as they look to get her going again. Pump fake by Lions. Just ran out of time. A nice job by the Cougars defense as they were able to gobble up Lions for the Cougars' first sack here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like John Knoll, big 6 foot, 230-pound junior on the sack. He got to Lions right before he saw his man deep down the sideline on the near side of the field. That guy was wide open. He would have had his play similar to the last possession.
So 3rd and 19 now from their 11. The Bears just trying to get a little bit of yardage so they can avoid kicking from out of their own end zone here. There's just a half a minute left to play in this opening quarter. They're going to go down the left side deep, and again the intended receiver, number 29, just out of the reach by a few feet, and that's going to bring up 4th down and the special teams unit for the White Bear Lake Bears.
I tell you what, Jeb, you got to like what you see out of Koob. He looks like he can do it with his feet. He looks like he has a nice arm. Unfortunately, that pass was just a few yards over his receiver's outstretched arm, but I like what I see out of this kid.
26 seconds remain here in the opening quarter as the Bears get set.
Lions, excuse me, I said Coop.
I have to agree with you, John. Thus far, he's looked very poised and comfortable. Even with the one sack thus far, he stood back there. He surveyed his offense. He's made his checkdowns and is able to have the big yardage play. But other than that, he's been picking apart the defense a little bit, which is obviously opening up both long yardage plays, and also the run game has looked pretty solid thus far. So a nice job by the White Bear Lake Bears as they look to forget about what 2016 was.
Yeah, clean slate, Jeb. You know, that's what we've been saying.
As the kick here now is a good one. It's all the way back to about the 40. And the fair catch is called by the Cougars. Just 15 seconds left here in the opening quarter as the Centennial Cougars will come back out, see if they can grab a last second here touchdown.
Yeah, Trey Driscoll, he's going to go back and watch the tape of that punt return, and he's going to see he had a lot of daylight to run that ball.
That looked to be a pretty quick fair catch signal. I would have to agree with you. It looked like they had about a good 15 to 20 yards before any of the special team unit from the Bears was approaching. But nonetheless, it's 1st and 10 from the 40 as Coob again in the shotgun, man in motion. And the play is whistled dead as we've got a flag. False start is the call on the Cougars, and so that'll back them up a few yards.
You don't want to start out 1st and 15. You have great field position to start your third drive, and you know you really don't want to see that. Your team needs to find a rhythm, and being in negative yardage is not going to help.
And so the Cougars will elect here, it looks like, to run the clock out as the final 10 seconds of this opening quarter. I don't think they'll have time to get a play off as they break the huddle, but just a hair short. That'll do it for the first quarter. So after one, the hometown Bears on a 5-yard run punch in by Daniel Lyons. They lead it 6-0 after one. We'll be back with the start of our second quarter here next.
Smooth backside. No, really, check it. When detected early, skin cancer is highly treatable. Learn more about what to look for at spotskincancer.org.
And welcome back. A bit of a miscommunication there with the officials and the clock as they put 15 seconds back up. Final play, and it's bobbled. Coob able to jump on it, and that should just about do it for the first quarter here between the Bears and the Cougars.
Yeah, not so sure what the clock snafu was, but that'll be the end of the first quarter. Centennial needs to regroup here and see if they can get some offense going in the second quarter.
And so after one, the hometown Bears out to an early 6-0 lead. We'll be back with the start of our second quarter after this.
This is the city where danger lurks. Today, a new creature walks among us, terrorizing innocent citizens. They prowl the streets alone and in packs, causing mayhem, destruction, and carnage. Warning, until this threat can be contained, we must all be on the lookout for the dreaded digital Deadwalkers. They're not looking out for you.
Dude! Engage!
A public service safety message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, who want to keep everyone well connected.
Sorry.
With strong, healthy bones.
You're going to need me. You're going to need us. all of us. You're going to need our technical skills, our math, our engineering skills. You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food. You're going to need our organizational skills, our problem-solving skills. You're going to need our determination, our honesty, our compassion. You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring. And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
And welcome back as we start out the second quarter. Again, a miscommunication between Koob and the running back. And again, lucky to jump on it was Ryan Koob. And the Cougars having a hard time here figuring out that offense.
Yeah, it's 3 fumbles now for the Cougars. Fortunately for the ball to bounce their way every single time. Looks like Koob's having some miscommunication here. That's not what you like to see out of your senior quarterback in his first start. We'll see if they can, regroup. Also, they have their running back, Bonfie. He's replacing 2 stud runners that graduated last year, Deontay Book and Ryan Chutell. Both those guys had about 500 yards rushing last year, so he has some big shoes to fill.
Absolutely, as the Cougars and a head coach, Mike Diggins, trying to get something started here. As Koob steps back and the lefty throws deep, and this time again just out of the reach of the intended receiver, Trey Driscoll. And a good looking play there, but just Koob unable to connect with the open receiver.
Yeah, I think Koob's number 96, John Towson, the big defensive lineman, bearing down on him right before he threw that ball. Fortunately, it was just a little air-mailed, a little too much.
And so Koob, the lefty, with a good-looking throw, just hasn't been able to match up with his receivers quite yet. And like we said, has done a lot on the ground thus far. Nonetheless, it's 4th and 19. The Cougars again will look to their special teams as they send it down. The ball bounces up, and it's touchdown around the 19. And that's where the White Bear Lake Bears will take over under the senior quarterback, Daniel Lyons, who's looked sharp thus far.
Yeah, he's looked fantastic, running, throwing, reading the defense, knowing when to hand the ball off on the option. But the Cougars offense, they really need to get something going. That last possession, 2 fumbles, a false start, just not good. They need to get in a rhythm in order to stay in this game.
Absolutely. Thus far, the Bears are certainly looking much more poised here through the opening quarter and into the second. He has a handoff inside of Greibel. He takes it up across the 20. A good run for the Bears, able to pick up a couple of yards, and it'll bring up second down and long here.
Yeah, I really enjoy this hurry-up offense there, Jeb. It just keeps the defense on their toes.
And again, Lyons out of the pistol. This time he holds it up the middle, and a nice stutter step up across the 30th. And it's a first down for Daniel Lyons and the Bears, and a nice run there by Lyons.
Yeah, nice little quarterback keeper there, hitting the hole. Nice little juke there at the end towards the near side, and this kid, he looks to be really coming into his own here.
And so that'll bring up 1st and 10 from the 31. Again, Lyons. And this time it's a handoff to Greibel. He's met in the backfield, and this time it's going to go for a tackle for loss as the Cougars defense able to gobble up Greibel behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, nice job by the Cougars defense to step up, get a little loss of 1 yard there. They need to get some stops here, get the offense their ball back. Most of all, they need to get off the field. They've been on the field a lot in this first half already.
Lions again now with Greibel to his left. 3 receivers wide right, 1 wide left. And right away, Lyons with the quick pitch off to the right side, and it's a good pickup near a first down. And that's going to bring up about 3rd and 1. Again, a nice play by the Bears to pick up some positive yardage.
Yeah, fantastic wide receiver screen right here. Great blocking up front by his fellow wide receivers in order to pick up about 10 yards.
And again, number 29 for the Bears, who's had an impressive first quarter and a third thus far. A couple of big catches, including the 20-plus yarder by Lions that led to the 5-yard Lions score. Now again, 29 on the left side this time. He's met immediately. A flag on the play as he's up and taken down around the 43.
Yeah, looks like they're going to get one of the lead wide receiver blockers there for a hold. Blatantly just grabbed the jersey and threw the defender down right in front of the referee as well. I mean, that's just something you can't do. You're going to have a gain there of about 3 or 4 yards. You're going to pick up the first down, keep your offense driving. It's just something that didn't need to happen.
And so that'll bring the Bears back quite a bit. It takes them back. And they'll look to see if they can pick up the first down as it goes from 3rd and 2 to about 3rd and 12.
Yeah, let's see what they can do in the air. I imagine they're going to do some quick screens here. Not a quick screen, and quick slants.
And so again, Lions with the hard count. Unable to get the defense to draw. And with quick slant, as you call, Johnny, and tackled immediately. But again, Blake Charles, the other big receiver for Lions, is taken down right away. It'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, as I said, they would do a quick slant. I would like to see them, get the ball a little more down the field. Your offense has been on fire to start the game. Defense was kind of expecting the quick pass. Maybe that, he's got a nice pump fake. He displayed that on a deep pass earlier. I think he could have done it again.
And so the special teams comes out, and the kick, it's a pretty good one as it makes its way all the way back around the 35, and it's taken there, up across midfield and taken down at about the 45, and a nice return there by Trey Driscoll for the Cougars.
Yeah, Trey Driscoll, he saw the running lanes this time, Jeb. He didn't call the fair catch with all the open lanes, and he hits it. You just see him get that open hole, missed tackle there. He just a weak arm tackle, he runs right by. It was a nice punt. It was a solid 35, 40 yards. Unfortunately, the cover team wasn't down there.
And so the Cougars look to get the offense going here as they've got 1st and 10 from the 44. Trying to answer a Dan Lyons touchdown early in the first quarter that's given the Bears the 6-0 lead. Off to the right now and up through, nearing a first down, and it's a good run by the Cougars as Renicky was the ball carrier on the play.
Yeah, nice sweep there by Renicky. Just great lead blocking as well, and he finds the hole and he hits it. As you can see, he had a lot of daylight to run. That's exactly what Centennial needed to start the drive.
Bears got lucky. They didn't get called for a late hit there, as you could see on the replay. One of the Bear defenders coming down after the initial contact. But nonetheless, it's a first down for the Cougars. And in motion again, it's a handoff right up the gut. He's met immediately by the White Bear Lake defense. Able to pick up a yard or two, and it'll bring up 2nd and 8.
Yeah, nice job by number 86 there, Nebgesic. Reading the option, going, and then just hitting the running back in the backfield. I mean, his D tackle got the rest, but he stopped that play.
So we'll see what the Cougars and Coob can put together as they approach the red zone of the Bears. Unable to capitalize thus far, and this time again, Coob will hold it and pick up a couple of yards, bouncing it off the right side up across the 30. And he's going to come up short. It's going to bring up 3rd and short for the Centennial Cougars.
Yeah, 3rd and short. You got to imagine, they're going to do some short yard running here, and this is 4-down territory. I think, you don't really need to punt it down here. They need to get some momentum.
And they need to keep the ball in their hands. We've seen about 3 bobbles thus far, and like you touched on, they've been fortunate to jump on each one of them. Could have certainly been turnovers for the Bears.
Yeah, some White Bear Lake players have definitely been in the vicinity of the ball when the fumbles have occurred.
And so it brings up 3rd and 4. Coob out of the pistol. And again, an inside run. This time it's good for a Cougar first down. A nice hole there, and it's hit nicely by Driscoll as Tony Junn on the carry, the fullback, able to pick up hard yardage.
Yeah, Bonfi with a nice run right there, picking that up.
And so it'll bring up 1st and 10, just over 6.5 left to play here in the opening half. The Bears hold on to a 6-0 lead as Coob And the Cougars are looking to answer. Ian Stewart in motion, and it's off to the left side. Again, a couple of hard yards. And Bonfie again, the ball carrier for the Cougars.
You can see how those fumbles were occurring earlier. It's a very late handoff on that. Bonfie just taking what the defense gives them. I mean, if you pick up 4 yards every play, you're going to get a first down.
Well, 2nd and 6 from the 20. Cougars now in the red zone, looking to answer here as the Bears looking for a big stop, maybe a turnover.
If you're the Bears, I say you just focus on the run. I mean, they're not going to beat you. They have been beating you in the air.
And again, Bonfie, the carrier, is able to pick up a few yards off the right side. See if the Bears can hold them to just a field goal, as that's going to bring up 3rd and some short yardage here. A big upcoming play for the Bears and the Cougars at that.
Just a little short, looks about half a yard. I'd imagine that Coob is going to take this one himself.
You touched on it, Johnny. They have not really elected to pass the ball other than a couple of attempts. If you're the White Bear Lake Bears, you got to really start stacking the box and shut down that run and force Coob to step back and throw on you.
Yeah, not very many high school quarterbacks have a cannon. You know, these guys are rusty, and they're very inaccurate. Most of the time, you should focus on the run.
Coob again out of the pistol. And again, he's going to hold it right side, and the Bears able to step up. I believe they're going to hold him shy of that first down, and it's going to be a big decision for head coach Mike Diggins of the Centennial Cougars, as they've got 4th and short upcoming in the red zone.
Yeah, either way, no matter what Coob did with the ball handed off or running himself, that was going to be a loss of yards. You figured Coob was going to take it himself. As you'll see, Centennial call a timeout right here, decide what they want to do.
Yeah, just under 4.5 left to play in the opening half. Again, the Bears lead at 6-0 on a Daniel Lyons keeper from 5 yards out early in the first quarter. Folks, we want to remind you about Sports Path each and every other Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll have our first Sports Path on the 6th, covering a lot of soccer that we've been covering, as well as we'll have recaps of this game. Remember, it'll be at 7 o'clock live on Channel 15. Channel 19, I'm sorry. And 801 if you want it in HD.
Sports Path, you guys do a fantastic job. Another season upon us. My partner Johnny Miller and Sam Erickson will bring you all the highlights and all the action around the SCC, the fantastic schools that we have the pleasure of covering.
Definitely a fun show to watch. We always love doing it. We love doing the recaps, as well as you know, maybe our player of the week will be from this game. You never know. We'll see who steps up for White Bear Lake here. But so far, the quarterback for White Bear Lake is really showing up.
4th and short, man in motion, and inside, handoff, and it's going to be a Cougar touchdown. A nice play as Bonfie takes it in. And the Cougars are now on the board. They'll knot it up at 6. And so the timeout pays dividends for the Centennial Cougars.
You know, great blocking up front, creating that hole right there, collapsing on the defensive line. Bonfie just hits the hole, and he hits it hard, and he was not going to be stopped. I bet you even if a defender was there, he was going to truck him right into the end zone.
Absolutely. Sam Bonfie, and a downhill runner, 5'8", 200-pound senior. And outside of a couple of attempts at an arm tackle, Bonfie had a wide opening, is able to punch it in. As the Cougars kicking team comes out, looks to take the lead. A hold, the kick is up, and it's good. And Centennial, with 4:22 left to play, opening half, and it jumps out to a 1-point lead, 7-6 after the Bonfie touchdown and the finish. Yeah, folks, we want to remind you to check out some of our other SCC shows, including Inside Healthcare. Jody Ritaka brings you this monthly show, providing tips and up-to-date information on healthcare issues. Many of the show topics often relate to women's health. The show airs every Wednesday and Thursday at 6:30 on the SCC Community Channel, Comcast Channel 19, or Channel 801 in high definition. That's Inside Healthcare right here on SCC TV.
Yeah, and if you don't catch Inside Healthcare or Sports Path at the time that they're allotted, you can always catch them at the SCC Community YouTube channel. That's always great. You know, just go in there and YouTube it, watch it, catch up on all your ladies' health and Sports Path. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're White Bear Lake, Jeb, you can't get down. You've been playing a great game. The defense has been playing very well, and the offense has been sustaining drives. If there wasn't a hold on that last one, they would have been doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, they got to keep your heads held high. It's going to be scoring as this one is taken up and out across about the 35, so a good return for the Bears. We'll see if Daniel Lyons and the Bears can move the chains and, again, regain that lead.
Yeah, very short kick. Fidel just taking it up to the 35-ish yard line, right underneath it. But once again, White Bear Lake's going to have good field position, and I would look for Lyons to continue to make plays as long as his team doesn't have some boneheaded penalties.
And so Lyons again out of the pistol, and this time the handoff elects to keep, actually kicks it out to the left. He's met there by a swarm of Cougars. No gain on the play. Looks like he was taken down at the line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, great job by Driscoll, just cutting off that running lane that Lyons had, forcing him to cut it back inside, or else he had broad daylight on the near side of the field.
2nd and 10 here as Lyons again back. Pressure on him, able to elude. He throws across his body, up and tipped around. The intended receiver, number 29, but a good job by the Cougars defense, able to knock it down and get a hand on it. And back Will Francis for the Cougars with a nice defensive play.
Yeah, Lyons displaying some great mobility right there, and he did have 2 wide open men down the field. Unfortunately, he was scrambling. I think he really needed to set himself and then throw that ball. He tried to throw it too much on the run, didn't get his feet set, so that was all arm, and fortunately he was just a little short.
3rd down now as Lyons again steps back, lets one go over the middle, and the intended receiver again was Charles, who had plenty of open field, but unable to connect was Lyons and Charles, and that'll bring out the special teams units for the Bears.
Yeah, I really like this play calling by White Bear Lake. They're designing plays to get guys open. Unfortunately, you know, they weren't able to connect on 2 passes, but I think they should continue to do that because, I mean, the guys are open. The plays are there. The yardage is there, and it will be there maybe on the next drive.
And so low snap, actually fielded well, and a good kick up across midfield. Fair catch is on. And it's fielded at about the 34, and that's where the Cougars will take over with 3:36 left to play in the opening half. They'll take it from the 37 as they hold on to a 1-point lead thus far.
Yeah, we can see how the Cougars build off the momentum of the last drive. You know, they just kept pounding away. They didn't do anything special. They just took what the defense gave them, and they're picking about 3-4 yards every single play. And I imagine they're going to keep doing the same thing. This White Bear Lake defense has got to be tired after being on the field for about 5 minutes on that last drive.
And we'll see what the defense can do here. I like what you said about the offense. Even though the plays didn't connect, they were there. A couple of open receivers, and you know, if you get a couple of those to connect, now all of a sudden you're moving the chains and giving your defense a little bit of time to rest.
Yeah, I think if you're Coach Bartlett for White Bear Lake, you got to like what you see out of your team as a whole, especially a team that won 0 games last year.
As again, Koob this time will pitch it off to the side. Some good running as it's taken up near the 40. And that time the ball carrier was pitched to Driscoll, and he's able to pick up an additional 5-6 yards as Koob was met in the backfield.
Yeah, great job by Koob, waiting, drawing the defender in as long as he could until he pitched that ball. I mean, it was only a gain of 3, but you know, he still got drilled for that, but 3 yards is 3 yards.
Absolutely. As it brings up 2nd and 6 from the 39. Just over 3 minutes left to play opening half. The Cougars looking to add to a 1-point lead thus far. Man in motion, and again, it's a handoff up the middle, good for a few yards. And the Bears able to smother all over it.
Yeah, 2 back-to-back plays, and that's a gain of about 4 or 5, and now they're looking at 3rd and 2. They continue to do those running plays, just power it, just power offense. And that's what they did last year. I think they averaged 123 passing yards per game, but 151 yards per game as well. They had that dual-headed running back tandem that really just, you know, ran the clock down. And that's what we're seeing right now, and they're starting to use that a lot.
Yeah, the combination of the quarterback Koob and some hard running by Bonfie we've seen thus far, a little bit by Driscoll. They're starting to pick up essentially from what they lost last season.
Couldn't ask for a better matchup tonight, too. These teams look very evenly matched.
3rd and short now from the 43. Again, man in motion, and there's a flag. And it looks like
a little illegal motion there, Jeb.
And so that'll back them up just a bit.
I think Andrew Stewart, you know, the guy that they've been motioning over almost every single play, just started a bit when he shouldn't have.
Second too soon, and so instead of 3rd and 2, it'll bring up 3rd and 7. And we'll see what the Cougars decide to do. As the White Bear Lake defense looks for a big stop and see if they can get the ball with a little bit of time left here in this opening half and maybe regain that lead in front of a nice hometown crowd here on opening night for high school football. Again, Stewart in motion. Koob off to his left. The lefty throws, and it's complete. It's going to be just shy of a first down, and it's going to bring up 4th and short for the Cougars.
Yeah, nice catch there by number 3. That's Drew Metz. He had a nice he came back to that ball very nicely. Unfortunately, it just wasn't across the sticks, and it's going to give the ball right back to White Bear Lake. And I got to imagine they're going to read what the defenses gave them the last few times, and they're gonna use that.
And folks, we want to remind you to check out another SEC show, and that's Your Business Matters. Every month, Tom Snell and the White Bear Lake Chamber of Commerce bring in a guest who's either a business owner in White Bear Lake or has some connection to the White Bear business community. This is a 20-minute show, and it provides some great insight into what issues are affecting many local business owners. Your Business Matters airs every Tuesday at 6 and Friday at 9:30 on the SCC Community Channel. That's Comcast Channel 19 or Channel 801 in high definition. Again, that's Your Business Matters here only on SCC TV.
I tell you what, if White Bear Lake stays in this game, they beat this Centennial team next week. Who they got next week?
Next week
they got Osseo, another team from the Metro North who finished 2-5 last year. So, you know, they could build off this if they do manage to win this game and maybe compete with Osseo as well and win.
Absolutely. If you're able to pull one out here against the Cougars, and then, like you said, go on the road and maybe take one from Osseo. Now you come in against the Raptors with some confidence.
Yeah, you do go on with a little bit of confidence against the Raptors, but East Ridge is one of the best teams in the state. I imagine that's going to be a tough game for White Bear Lake. But, you know, if they could continue to build momentum, I mean, I like the things I've seen there, but, you know, East Ridge is going to watch this film. They have a lot bigger players. They have guys that have gone on to play at Alabama, the Gophers. Not too many kids from White Bear Lake has. They're like a powerhouse school.
But again, building off of what they did in 2016, both of us have said we like what we've seen thus far. The play calling has been good. It's been balanced. It's allowed Daniel Lyons to both have some time back in the pocket to find some open receivers like you touched on.
Yeah, I think Coach Bartlett, you know, maybe he's been coaching a few years now. Now he has this system in place. The younger kids have been knowing this system for a few years now, and maybe the fruits of the labor is starting to come to fruition.
As it's 4th and 2, the Cougars decide to go for it as they punch it up the middle, and it looked like forward progress is more than likely going to move the chains, and so after some thought, again, the timeout pays dividends for the Cougars.
Gutsy call for Centennial to call it on 4th and 2 on their own 42-yard line. Great play. That power running just continues to work, and I got to imagine they're just going to keep doing that. The defensive linemen for White Bear Lake have got to be getting gassed.
1:21 now left to play here as the Cougars now work from the 47. Again, Stewart in motion, dropped back, and it's slung down the field, and again, just out of the reach of the intended receiver. And Koob with that big left-handed cannon just has not been on target quite yet tonight.
Yeah, 0 wide receivers were open. He actually tried to force that ball. He's lucky that he overthrew it rather than underthrew it because none of his wide receivers were even near where the ball was thrown. Great defense, great pressure on Koob right there as well.
That'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the 47. A little over a minute left to play. Cougars looking to build on the 1-point lead as the Bears looking to turn them over on downs and maybe scrounge a last-second field goal. And it's an end-around reversed here as Stewart takes it up for some positive yardage. Up across midfield, taken down at about the 49.
It was definitely a nice little play there. You know, the fake option, the running back, fake quarterback option. Then he hands it off to the motioning Stewart, and Stewart finally gets that. You'll see it right here. You fake it, and then he gets it to Stewart. Fooled our cameraman, and then he just keeps on trucking for a gain of 6.
With all the motion Stewart's been doing, now we've got a loose ball again, and the Cougars fortunate to jump on it as Driscoll was right in the vicinity, but again, just a matter of inches from White Bear Lake turning over the Cougars here.
I tell you what, if you're Kerrigan Crodell right there and you see that ball on the ground and you see a Centennial guy running after the fumble, he should have thrown that guy down. He had another defender right there. They should have got that fumble. You'll see it right here. The fumble comes out. Another nice bounce there for Centennial.
Driscoll well aware of the loose ball and is able to jump on it before the Bears could get there. That is the 3rd bouncing ball that they've been able to jump on. John, we take a look at the Metro North standings from last season. Again, we talked about the season Totino Grace had, undefeated, 8-0 overall. You could see Centennial right in the middle of the pack, 3-4 in the conference. They ended up finishing 500. So not a bad season per se, but obviously want to try to finish at the top of the ranks every year, give Totino Grace a run for their money, as they've always been a strong competitor.
Yeah, I feel like Totino Grace, ever since I was a kid, you know, they've always been playing, you know, at the Metrodome, at TCF Bank. This team's always really good, and I expect them to be in the running for the state tournament championship as well in 6A again.
And we talked about the Bears last year, and unable to really find a W, but certainly have built on that this year. Because last year they went winless, 0-8 overall. And Eastridge Raptors, who the Bears will see in a couple of weeks here, ended up finishing out on top, 6-1 in the conference.
Yeah, very tough conference. You see right there, Creighton-Durham Hall, Moundsview, Stillwater, all big schools, all known for football. White Bear Lake's going to have to upset some of these teams this year if they want to make a name for themselves.
And so the Cougars are set to kick. They do, and a fortunate bounce as that nearly went out of play. It's touchdown at about the 32, and with 25 seconds left to play, the Bears will take over and see if they can salvage a few points and go into halftime with a lead.
Yeah, it looks like the Bears have one timeout left with 25 seconds to go. If you're Lions, if you're Coach Bartlett, I say you let Lions just air one out, and if it doesn't work, you run the ball and run the clock out.
Yeah, the pump fake worked well. Second possession earlier on here, which eventually led to White Bear Lake's first score. Lions again now as they keep it on the ground. It's a good run here by Greibel as he goes up across the 40. Picked up nearly 8 on the play.
Yeah, they ran a 4 wide receiver set and they just did a little draw. I mean, that's a play you do in Madden. You know, a lot of people do that to, you know, you spread the defense out and you just try to see what they can give you, but now you've just burned a timeout and you only gained 8 yards and you got about 55, 56 to go.
Yeah, 14 seconds remain, 2nd and 10. As again, now this time Lions will keep it off to the left side. He's taken down just across the 45 at the 46. And with 3.9 seconds left to play, my guess is we'll see everyone flood to the end zone and a jump ball.
Yeah, I think you will. Do they do a stop clock on first downs for high school football? I'm not exactly sure on that one.
No.
Or else they still do have a timeout left with 3 seconds to go. I think they're going to call that timeout right here.
That they do, so just a few seconds left on the clock as they dial up their final play of this first half as they trail 7-6.
I'd like to see some Statue of Liberty kind of stuff. That'd be fun.
Absolutely. Get creative with it. We talked a little bit about head coach Ryan Bartlett, this being early on to his coaching career, but you can tell, like you said, the system's in place now and things are starting to come together for the young coaching staff.
Yeah, you implemented, you know, a lot of these kids, the head coach will teach, all of his assistants who will coach the sophomore, the junior year teams, what he wants to see in his offense, and then they come up playing in that system. And by the time they get to their senior year, then they can run it. We saw that with Park High School out in Cottage Grove. They had Coach Glazier. He was their coach for 3 years. They won 0 games his first 2 years, and now they're down in Class 4A. But after they got the system in place, they won 7 games last year. I mean, that was very impressive to see. So let's see if White Bear Lake can do the same thing and have something to be excited about, for sports bath.
Absolutely, and the fans here in the White Bear Lake community. Final play of this first half as Lyons drops back. Pressure coming on him now and unable to get it off as he's taken down nicely by the Cougar defense. In on the tackle was number 5. That's Mitch Walshin to end the first half. So, John, not a bad first half for the Bears. Again, we've talked about it all night tonight, coming off a winless season. Some impressive plays, able to get on the board early, and other than a missed extra point, they'd be tied going into this halftime.
Yeah, very impressive first half there from both teams. White Bear Lake, they had a lot of good things going. The option, the long passes, Centennial with the short running game, that worked out very well. They gassed the White Bear Lake defense. But on that last play, I mean, they needed Aaron Rodgers for that Hail Mary. I mean, I don't think Lions is quite that good.
So after one half of play, the Centennial Cougars lead it 7-6. We'll be back with our second half in a third quarter kickoff after this.
You look incredible. Did you go tanning? Yeah, check it out. Jealous. Best spring break ever. No. You're getting so tan. Finals are the worst.
I'm so glad they're over.
We need some sun.
I can't believe our friends are getting married.
She looks amazing.
Where's your tan?
I can't go tanning anymore. Doctor's orders. It's melanoma. I'm stage 3.
Melanoma is the second most common cancer for young women, 15 to 29. Protect yourself. Protect your friends. Stop tanning. Learn more at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Todos hemos visto historias de conflicto que terminaron en paz. Hemos visto historias de hambre terminar en abundancia. Hemos visto historias de enfermedad terminar en sanación. Vemos historias de miedo, desesperación y pobreza, pero pueden terminar en valor, esperanza y amor, con usted. Juntos, con el amor de Dios, somos más grandes que las dificultades en el mundo. Cuando estamos unidos, podemos superar la adversidad y hacer una diferencia que durará para los que más lo necesitan. Sea parte de escribir una historia que es más grande que la pobreza y ayude a las comunidades a darle a los niños la esperanza de un futuro brillante. Entérese más en worldvision.org.
And welcome back to White Bear Lake Stadium as we get set to get started with our second half kickoff. Folks, we want to remind you we're always looking for volunteers as you take a look at a couple of studs working the cameras here for us tonight. Always need help in the truck or running the cameras, or maybe even come up and give John and I a hand in the press box and call a game or two with us.
Yeah, it's always a good time. Sometimes we even have free pizza. If you're a parent or just somebody looking to watch these sports games, a local community member, we're always looking for some help. Great sports are abundant throughout the SCC community. So, we also do some choir concerts, some band concerts, all good stuff here, even parades, the local parades.
Absolutely. It's a nice way to stay connected to the community and the different schools that we cover throughout each season and every event taking place in that specific community. Also looks good as you take a and look at us up in the press box here, but also looks good for intern reasons and whatnot, and get yourself some experience, whether you're in school or you're going on to a career in broadcasting, want to run a camera in the years to come. It looks fantastic on a resume to say that you worked with prestigious SEC and gained some experience with us here.
All right, we're going to get the kick underway here.
And here we are back at it for the second half as the Cougars receive on the 10. It's a fake around and up the left side and taken down there at about the 24. So a decent return by the Cougars as they get set to start the second half with a 1-point lead thus far.
Yeah, they finally did the little reverse that they've been practicing. I mean, as you can see, the kick defend team read that the whole way. I mean, the whole kick return blocking team went that way, so it wasn't hard to read. And they gained up maybe an extra 3 or 4 yards on it.
And Driscoll was the recipient of the reverse and able to pick up some yardage, and that's where the Cougars will take off again. Quarterback Koob back, and they'll start it on the ground right off the back. It's a handoff up the right side. He's met there again. Bonfie, the ball carrier. Bonfie with a decent first half, a number of carries. Most of the offense running through both Koob and Bonfie.
Yeah, Bonfie had the only touchdown for Centennial in the first half, and what we saw a lot of Centennial doing there in the second quarter, they didn't get much going in the first, but in the second quarter, they just pounded the ball away up the middle, and White Bear Lake really didn't have an answer, you know, just 4 or 5 yards of play. That one, they just picked up 6, and I expect them to continue to run the clock, drain it. Some nice running back dives up the middle.
2nd and 4 from the 31, 6 yards picked up by Bonfie. This time Stewart on the quick sweep, and it's good enough to move the chains. Up and down at about the 38 as Stewart picks up the first down for the Cougars.
Yeah, it looks like they're running the same exact plays they closed out the first half with, and it's continuing to work. They're just picking up chunks of yardage. No huge gainers, but it's working.
That it is as the White Bear Lake defense. We talked about it in that first half. Got to find a way to shut down that run and force Koob to drop back. Yet to make a completion thus far. But the run game has led to a 1-point lead for the Cougars early on here in the second half. Again, they keep it on the ground, right up the gut, able to pick up a couple of yards. And it was Bonfie again, the ball carrier.
Yeah, nice little run there by Bonfie, but nice step up there by McElmurray. Just hits the running back right when he gets the handoff, you know, after a couple of yards, and that's what White Bear Lake needs to do. They need to hit him after, you know, less than 3 yards, or else they're not going to get the ball back, and Centennial's going to continue to drive the ball down the field.
Brings up 2nd and 7 now from the 41 as the Cougars are driving. And this time, Koob again out of the pistol. Couple of receivers left, right, Stewart in motion, and we've got ourselves a flag on the play. And
looks like we're going to get a false start here, Jeb.
False start. And so that'll back the Cougars up a few yards. And we'll bring up 2nd and 12 on the false start there on Centennial.
It looked like they're not able to really pinpoint from that replay who was false start. Nonetheless, you know, it's a drive killer. It puts you, you know, at 2nd and about 13. You know, you're driving the ball, and when all you've been able to get is short runs all day, I mean, now you got an extra 3 yards to pick up.
Just under 10 minutes left to play. Now from the 36, and it backs them up to 2nd and 12. Again, Koob out of the pistol. A wide receiver left and right. Again, man in motion. And Koob steps back, drops back and throws, and again, Koob just a little out of the reach of the intended receiver. And that time was Drew Metz up the left side. I tell you, John, if Koob could connect with one of these receivers, Centennial would have a much larger lead than just 1 point.
Yeah, they would. Unfortunately, you know, there's been good coverage there by White Bear Lake. And if you're White Bear Lake, you continue to stack the box. Koob's not going to beat you in the air. He's shown that he's very inaccurate. You know, he can run the ball, but that's about it. Maybe he just got the jitters. I don't know, but his passes have not been on target at all today. So that's good for White Bear Lake, not so good for Centennial. And we'll see. Now Centennial's at 3rd and 12. They can't get big chunks of yards. They've shown that throughout the whole first half, and I'd expect them not to get any right here.
We'll see what they can do as White Bear Lake's defense looking to answer. Koob rolls out to the left. Again, it's thrown. First completion on the left side. At that time, again, went to Drew Metz, but it looks like they're going to come up a couple of yards short, and it'll bring up 4th and short. It'll be an interesting decision for head coach Mike Diggins to make.
Yeah, similar to the only pass they completed earlier in the first half. You know, the wide receiver had to come back right before the sticks. Is it 2nd down?
That it looks like it'll bring up 4th and 1, and it appears that they're going to go for it.
Sorry, they didn't change the yard marker across the field.
And they were able to, similar possession earlier in the game, able to commit on a 4th and short. We'll see if they can do it again. And Stewart again in motion. Coop keeps it himself, a little end around. He has enough for the first. He breaks away and nearly one defender away. He's taken down at the 30. A big gain by Coob, a flag late on the play. And that's going to bring up a 1st down for the Cougars. We'll see what the flag on the play was.
Yeah, nice job by Coob in order to keep it himself here. And I think the penalty was a hit in the backfield on White Bear Lake.
Well,
so a nice drive there.
Yeah, 8:45 here left to play. A great run by Coob. 1st and 10 it'll bring up. It's kind of deflates the air out of the sail, so to say, for the White Bear Lake Bears as they're staring at 4th and 1 from midfield, and now down inside the red zone as the Cougars are looking to score on their opening possession in the second half.
I'm not sure what the late hit call was, but it was way behind even the line of scrimmage, and the ball was way upfield, so it had to have been an awful penalty.
Again, Stewart in motion, and this time it's a handoff up the middle, and a good run down to about the 2. And again, Bonfie finding a hole in the middle of that line and pounding the ball right up the middle, nearly getting in for a 2nd touchdown tonight.
Yeah, they just keep giving the ball to Bonfie, and he keeps gaining positive yardage. That was a nice gain right there. That's going to set up 1st and goal.
Again, Bonfie, the 5'8", 200-pound senior, tough to take down. He's certainly a downhill runner. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the rock here on 1st and 10 from the 2. And it's a keeper this time. Touchdown, Cougars. And it's Coob, Ryan Coob. The senior punches it in, and Centennial increases their lead here early in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, nice run there by Coob, keeping it himself, getting over the pylon, putting this team up by even more. We'll see if they can make this, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion lead right here.
And we take another look as Coob elects to keep it and is able to punch it in from just 2 yards out.
Yeah, no penetration by the White Bear Lake defensive line or linebackers right there. Easy running.
And we get a false start here on the Cougars, so that will back them up a little bit as we await the field goal attempt. 13-6 now, the Cougars lead it as we await a extra point attempt, I should say. And John, if you're White Bear Lake, not exactly how you wanted to come out and start this second half.
No, they didn't look like they had as much energy as they did in the first half coming out. They were playing outstanding defense in the first half. At the end of the first half, it started to trickle down. So they need to figure out what was going right and get back to it.
The kick is up and good for the Cougars, and so they increase their lead to 8 as they lead it 14-6 over the hometown Bears. We'll see what the White Bear Lake Bears and head coach Ryan Bartlett have to offer coming up. Well, let's take a look again at the upcoming schedule for the Cougars. And they got the ever-tough Totino Grace Eagles coming up next week.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Totino Grace earlier. I mean, Anoka it should be some good competition. St. Michael, Albertville, all these teams are right in line besides East Ridge, Champa Park, and Totino Grace. Those are all tough games, but all these other games, look at between September 15th to October 6th, they should be in those games.
It'll be interesting to see which direction, how things shake out. On the other side for the Bears, their upcoming schedule. Again, we talked about gaining some momentum off a good start tonight. We'll see what they can do as they await the first possession of this second half. And we'll see if they can get that offense clicking and get right back in this game.
Yeah, let's see if Lyons can start where he left off. He looked really good in that first half.
And the kick is taken across the 20, up across the 30, down at about the 33, and that's where the White Bear Lake Bears and Daniel Lions will head on out and see what they can do. 7:50 left to play. The Bears trail 14-6 to the Centennial Cougars.
Yeah, the quick passes were working, the outside runs were working. They really couldn't get much up the middle, the options were working. So we'll see if they can, they had some deep passes that they missed on, and I think they're going to continue to run that same offense. They're not going to get away from what they were doing in the first half because that was working. They just had some missed opportunities.
They got 2 receivers left, 2 right. They keep it on the ground as Lions will keep it himself up maybe a yard or so gained on the play.
Yeah, plenty of open field right there. It looks like he just ran right where the defense was.
And so that will bring up 2nd and 10, no gain on the play. And again, the same set, 2 wide receivers right, 2 left. Lions drops back, throws right, and it's just out of the reach of the intended receiver. And that was Russell Schuler. And that'll bring up 3rd and 10.
And once again, the right idea. They got the guys open, they just need to connect. And I'm pretty sure, one of these drives here, it's going to happen.
And we'll see what they can do. 3rd and 10, got to get some positive yardage here as they try a hard count. And now, again, they look over to the sidelines and audible on. And we'll see what Lions decides to do. Now Lions drops back, surveys the field, and he's going to be sacked. And they're going to say the ground cost it as he was slammed pretty hard to the ground. It's a tackle for a loss, and it's going to bring on the punt team as it'll bring up 4th and long for the Bears. So not quite the opening drive that they wanted to start this second half.
Yeah, the White Bear Lake near side sideline was calling for a face mask, and I think they were right. That should have been a 15-yard penalty right there. The Centennial defender clearly grabbed that face mask.
Tough break for the Bears there as our replay, like you said, clearly indicated the face mask was grabbed. Nonetheless, the kick is up. It's a good one across midfield, and it's picked up there and up across the 50, trying to get to the outside. A swarm of White Bear Lake defenders take him down around the 35. It's a good return by Driscoll for the Cougars. And again, the Cougars will have great field position to start their second possession here in this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, it's the second great punt that Driscoll's returned, for a good net of like 25-yard gain. So once again, he puts his team in good field position. Let's see if they can capitalize, create some distance between themselves and White Bear Lake here at the beginning of the 3rd quarter.
6:24 left to play, 3rd quarter, 1st and 10 from the 36 for the Centennial Cougars as they break the huddle. See if the Bears can come up with an ever so needed defensive stop here.
Yeah, if they needed one, it's right now. These guys got to step up. The whole team's coming out of halftime looking just lackadaisical. They need to step up the pressure, stack the box. Koob is not going to beat you with his arm.
And Koob out of the pistol. He's got a receiver right, receiver left. Again, Koob decides to keep it up the middle with some space, and he's taken down at about the 25, a late flag on the play.
Yeah, it looked like number 45 there for White Bear Lake. Woodcock, the linebacker, came in and jumped on the pile there at the end. Something, once again, they didn't need to do. And now it's going to be another 15 yards there for Centennial. And your team's down by 8 points. You don't need to make simple mistakes like that. The coach, he's got to drive Coach Bartlett absolutely crazy when he goes back and looks at that penalty.
Absolutely right. Now it takes him down inside the red zone again, and as we take another look at the penalty that may end up being costly here.
Yeah, nice job by Koob to read the hole, and then you'll see, I don't know, maybe he got pushed. It didn't look like he had the intent to go in there and jump on. It looked like his momentum was carrying him that way.
Tough break there for the Bears as the pitch to Stewart on the end around. Stewart is met right there. A nice job of gang tackling by the Bears, and now they look to say that the ball has come loose, and we'll see if they're able to pick up their first turnover.
The Bears got it.
And they did, and so a huge play by the White Bear Lake Bears defense And Johnny, they needed a big defensive stand, and they got one.
Yeah, you said that at the beginning of the drive, Jeb, and that's exactly what happened. We'll see on this replay exactly how it went down. It looked like Stewart got the ball. Defender just holds Stewart up there just long enough to poke it out. Great bounce there. They finally got a fumble to bounce their way. That's the 4th fumble there. First Centennial finally won to bounce in the hands of White Bear Lake.
Well, let's see if Danny Lyons and the White Bear Lake offense can take advantage of the turnover as he starts 1st and 10 from his own 12. The Lions again out of the shotgun. Steps back, the fake, he pumps right side deep's got a defender right on him. That one goes incomplete. A good looking play, but some good coverage down that right side.
Yeah, beautiful coverage, and unfortunately Lions had nowhere to put that ball, so he threw it towards the far side sideline.
Yeah, Russell Schuler, the intended receiver, but good coverage by the Cougars. It brings up 2nd and 10 now, again from the 12.
Yeah, Centennial fans are a lot louder than the White Bear Lake fans.
Lions this time to the left side, and this is Akins. Again, Akins with another catch, able to take it up across the 15, able to pick up some positive yardage, 5 yards on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and 5 for the Bears.
Once again, they go back to that quick passing game right there, and then Akins, I think Centennial read that perfectly. They had more defenders over there than White Bear Lake had offenders, so.
They got 3 receivers right, 1 left, and Lions again out of the pistol. This time, quick snap, and it's caught again by Aiken. Not enough for the first down. We'll see what Mr. Bartlett and the Bears decide to do as they're going to have 4th and short.
I think they're going to try to get them to jump off sides here. That's way too close. But unfortunately, that last play, the offensive wide receiver needs to know where the first down marker is and run to it. And Lyons needs to know when that guy gets there in order to pick up that first down rather than throw it 3 yards short.
Yeah, 4th and 2. They do decide to go for it. Catches Centennial off guard. It's good to move the chains. A first down for the Bears. And Johnny, I like the call by Bartlett to, the game's right now 14-6, certainly not out of reach, and really trusting his offense and putting the ball in the hands of Danny Lyons and letting him make a play.
Yeah, if you're Coach Bartlett, you got to like what you've seen out of Lyons all day. And, he's showing he's trusting his senior quarterback on his first start, so that's impressive.
This time they decide to keep it on the ground, and Greibel up the middle. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, and so it'll bring up 2nd and 10 now from the 30.
But on that 4th down call, Centennial, I was very surprised they were not playing close up to the wide receivers because they've been doing short passing game all day. They've had a couple deep bombs, but on 4th down, you're only trying to pick up the first down. Why is that cornerback not playing a lot closer?
Lions again with a quick snap out to the right side, able to pick up a couple of yards. And so they continue to make their way. That time, Schuler able to haul in the pass, and it'll bring up a 3rd down for the White Bear Lake Bears.
If you're the Centennial defensive coordinator, I would rather tell my cornerbacks to play closer to the line. Let them beat you deep because the quarterback has a better chance of completing a short ball than he does a long ball.
3rd and 4 now from the 37 as they get the call from Bartlett on the sideline. And Lions again out of the pistol. 3 receivers left, 1 right. A little miscommunication. Lions holds on to it, and they maybe get back to the line of scrimmage. Tough break there as it looked like Greibel and Lions a little bit off, not quite on the same page there.
Yeah, I think Centennial knew what that was coming. They had to stack the box. They had 4 defensive linemen pinched in. They had 2 linebackers right behind them ready to go on that. I think they knew that play was coming, whether it was to the running back or if Lions kept it.
And so again, it appears that the Bears are going to gamble here. 4th and 3rd from the 38. Just under 3 minutes left to play. 3rd quarter. Bears trail 14-6. Lions out of the pistol. 2 receivers right, 2 left. He looks right. Quick snap, and it's caught, and it looks to be good for a first down. And once again, Johnny, the gamble pays off for Bartlett and the Bears.
Yeah, you got to love the trust that Coach Bartlett is putting in quarterback Lyons here. Quarterback Lyons, he continues to look impressive. I mean, I really like what I see out of this kid. And you know what? You instill that confidence in your quarterback, that'll pay off later in the year as well.
And the receiver that time is the senior Logan Fike, his first catch tonight, as Off to the right side this time, again, able to pick up some yardage. And that'll bring up second down. The Bears are marching a bit. They've got Centennial on their heels.
Yeah, you got to imagine Coach Bartlett, you know what? He said, he probably is thinking, we lost every game last year. What do we have to lose by going for it on fourth down? Nothing.
Exactly. I like the call. It's paid off twice now here in this third quarter. 2:12 left to play as we get a flag on the play. And it's going to go against Centennial offsides, and so the momentum is appearing to start to shift a little bit here late in this third quarter.
Yeah, this is exactly what White Bear Lake needed. You know, defense, they get the fumble and you build the momentum. I'd like to hear the crowd more into it than they are. Get behind this White Bear Lake team.
Yeah, and they've got a good turnout here tonight. They need to pump it up a little bit as looks like timeout by Bartlett and the Bears with 2:11 here left to play. And again, folks, we want to remind you about Sports Path. My partner, Johnny Miller, and Sam Erickson every other Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Johnny, tell them about it.
Yeah, we cover all the local sports. You know, we'll have recaps of all the football games and the soccer games that we've been covering, as well as we do Athletes of the Week, as well as we also see what you guys are saying on Twitter for our social media montage. That's personally one of my favorites, to see what you guys are tweeting out there about your local sports. So, you know, if you say something funny, or if it's just, you know, congratulating your local youth teams, we'll cover it.
A lot of good stuff there. A good way to keep up to date on all the good news and highlights and actions taking place around your community and all the great schools that we cover. So it's 2nd and 2 here from the 49, right at midfield. 2:11 left to play. The Bears trail 14-6 to the Centennial Cougars, as White Bear Lake's a bit on the move here. The gamble on fourth down has paid dividends twice now, and they're looking to build on it.
Let's see if they can continue it.
Low snap, Lions able to corral it. He hands it off to Greibel up the middle, and it looks to be good enough for another first down for the Bears.
Yeah, nice job by Greibel just to churn those legs a little bit. He had nowhere to go, but he got enough for the first down, and that's all they needed. And we'll see if they can continue to build off this. You got to like what you're seeing if you're the White Bear Lake Bears.
1st and 10 from the 46. Again, Lions in the pistol. 3 receivers left. He looks left. It's Aiken from the 50. He met immediately, but able to keep the legs going. And he at least it looks like a yard or so out of that. It's a good job by Aiken, turning a broken play into some positive yardage.
Yeah, White Bear Lake's going to have to do something different with that formation. Now Centennial has brought a linebacker over there to read that play. So now they got the blockers out in front, but now they have a linebacker just crashing in immediately.
Lions stops back. It's a deep one, and it's good. Oh, excuse me, just bounced around. A tough break there for the Bears as it bounced in and out of the hands of senior receiver Blake Charles.
Oh, Blake Charles, he had a bad holding call, or a bad holding penalty earlier. He needs to make that catch. I don't know how much more this can get in your hands than it was.
Great throw by Lions, and just out of the hands of Charles.
It was a great pass. I mean, you can't do anything more with Lions. He laid that right into the breadbasket, and unfortunately just slipped right through his hands.
And Lions this time is met in the backfield. The big man, number 60 for the Cougars, takes him down for the loss. John Knoll with a big sack, and that hurts the Bears' momentum as they went from nearly a nice passing touchdown to a huge loss, and it's going to bring up 4th and a lot of yardage.
Yeah, huge swing of events there, Jim.
And so it'll bring up 4th and 19 with just under a minute left. The Bears now forced to punt. The kick is up and back. It's a good one, and Driscoll now from the 20 as he takes it up across the 40 and down at about the 44. Again, Driscoll with a nice return for the Cougars.
Yeah, Driscoll just, you know, he's making that himself. He'll have a couple yards to get already, but then he'll you know, drop the shoulder, nice little stiff arm, gain the extra couple yards, set his team up at the 43. Great field position once again. And, you know, White Bear Lake, they got that fumble on the last drive, but Centennial was driving. They've been driving their last few drives. And we'll see if White Bear Lake can actually put a stop in on downs instead of a turnover.
Yeah, tough break there for the Bears offense as they gambled a few times on 4th down. Were able to move the chains, and unfortunately it ends in a punt, as now Bonfie and the Cougars up across midfield. Picks up some good yardage on the play. It'll bring up about 2nd and 4 for the Cougars.
Yeah, great run after contact right here. You'll see he'll get hit, and then he just lays down the shoulder using that 200-pound frame. Little Maurice Jones-Drew-like, 5'8". That was a great run there by Bonfie to pick up about 6.
As the final 15 seconds tick off here in this third quarter, we'll see if the Cougars attempt to get a play off. And it looks like they're going to bleed out the clock as they lead it by 8 thus far, 14-6.
Yeah, Centennial, they bounce back after being down 6-0, and they've looked good, and they haven't looked back since. They've been sustaining drives. Their defense has been looking fantastic, besides letting some receivers behind them. But other than that, Centennial's been looking just fine.
Yeah, folks, we want to remind you to check out our other CC shows, including North St. Paul Notes. This show showcases North St. Paul city staff, the business leaders, and local residents. Tune into Channel 16 as the SCC government channel every month to find out what's happening in the city of North St. Paul. Yeah, that's North St. Paul Notes here on SCC Community Channel.
Yeah, we'll see if White Bear Lake can come up with a stop right here. They absolutely need it. You got 2nd and short. Let's see if they can, stuff them right here.
We take a look back at that second touchdown is Koob with the keeper, and thus far has put them up 14-6 over the hometown Bears.
Yeah, Centennial's not blowing you away with this amazing offense. They're just pounding away. They're just grinding away at this White Bear Lake defense, and it's working.
Yeah, we get set to start this fourth quarter as, again, it's a handoff to Bonfie off the right side. Able to pick up some yardage, I believe enough to move the chains, and it'll be a first down for the Centennial Cougars.
Yeah, this Bonfie, he had some big shoes to fill after Centennial losing their top 2 rushers last year, but he looks like he'll do just fine. Big frame, powers him to an extra few yards, picks up the first down. That's all they're doing. They're not blowing you away. They're just slowly grinding, and they get down the field. I mean, we saw that on the last possession. Unfortunately, they had the fumble.
And so it'll bring up 1st and 10 from the 47. Again, Koob out of the shotgun, fakes the pass. 2 White Bear Lake players on him, and this time Bonfie unable to bring in the pass there, as that was a good one by Koob, and Bonfie just took his eyes off it for a sec.
Yeah, it was a little low and behind him, but it was right in his hands. He should have definitely caught that. I was just talking up Bonfie, and of course he drops the next pass.
Well, that's the first time we've seen Koob actually put one in the hands, though. We've seen him air it out a little bit, just a few steps behind. Only 2 completions thus far, but it's done a lot to help out the running game. Has certainly opened up the holes for Bonfie thus far. 2nd and 10 now from the 47. Again, Koob keeps it, kicks it out to the right side, and he steps out of bounds just a couple yards shy of the first down. It'll bring up 3rd and short in White Bear Lake territory.
Yeah, White Bear Lake needs a stop right here. Nice keeper by Koob, though, reading the defense. Bonfie was hitting the backfield. He keeps it himself, picks up an extra few yards, gets him that much closer to the first down marker in White Bear Lake territory.
And we'll see if the Bears can come up with a big stop here. As again, trying to find a way to get some momentum, get that offense clicking. Again in motion now. Koob keeps it himself up the middle, and it's going to be near another Centennial first down. We'll see where the mark is from the officials.
Yeah, it looks like he got right to the marker. I'm going to guess this is a first down there, Jeff. They might measure it. Nice delayed keeper there by Koob. Yeah, they're gonna measure this one.
As we wait to see, it looks like they're going to mark it just a couple inches short, so it'll bring up 3rd in inches for the Cougars. And based on what we've seen, John, my guess is they're going to keep it on the ground.
Yeah, I would definitely say they keep it on the ground, and I'm going to guess I would give this, if I was Centennial, just to Bonfie. The kid's so big, he's just going to barrel you over, and that's all you need. A little Eddie Lacy-like kind of. Marshawn Lynch.
You talked about the lack of pressure from the offensive line for the Bears. They haven't really been able to penetrate into that backfield as we got a timeout called here by the Cougars.
Yeah, I think if you just look at the size of Centennial's offensive line compared to White Bear's defensive line, I think the offensive linemen outweigh the defensive line. All total, probably a few hundred pounds, I would guess. They're a lot bigger, a lot heavier. These guys are quicker and skinnier on the White Bear Lake side, and that makes a huge difference when you're trying to just stop the power run game. You really can't stop it.
10:37 left to play here as we await the timeout. 14-6, the Cougars lead it over the hometown Bears. A nice crowd for the Bears, but they're waiting to have something to cheer about here as they came out red hot in that first opening couple of possessions. Scored on their second possession on a quarterback keeper by Daniel Lyons, but it's been all Centennial since then as they've gone unanswered in the last couple of scores, and they lead it by 8 with 10:37 left to play. Back at it now, 4th and inches, and again they do give it to Bonfie. Met immediately in the backfield, but keeps the legs turning, and Bonfie takes it down. An impressive run to the 20. It's a first down for Centennial, and they're back in the red zone.
Remind me of John Kuhn right there. You know, you get in the pile and you just keep your legs churning.
We take another look. That was an impressive run. You could see he was met 3 yards in the backfield.
Yeah, he was hit in the backfield. He kept those legs churning. I mean, that's what the weight room does for you. And, you know, he's obviously been hitting it, especially the squat rack. He keeps those legs churning. Those big boys are on top of you. He's not going to be stopped.
So punishing run by Bonfie. It sets up a 1st and 10 from the 21. Again, they hand it to Bonfie with open space, and Bonfie is in for the touchdown. Sam Bonfie with his second tonight, and he puts the Cougars up 20-6 as we await the extra point.
Yeah, great blocking by Centennial up front to open up that wide open hole for Bonfie. He was practically untouched running through that hole. If we get the replay right here, you'll see how big of a hole he had to run through. Just a little slap on the arm pad. That's about it, on the shoulder pads right there, and that's all White Bear Lake was able to get on him.
And so 20-6 as Centennial adds to their lead. It's gone unanswered as the kick. This one is a low liner, able to get it over the crossbar there. And nearly missed it, but nonetheless, it's a 21-6 lead now for the Centennial Cougars. Just over 10 minutes left to play. And we'll see if the Bears can put some offense together and see if we can salvage a little something out of this opening night for high school football.
Yeah, even if White Bear does get something going, I mean, they haven't been able to stop Centennial since the beginning of the second quarter with those power rushing. I mean, it just hasn't been working out in their favor. I think we're going to see a lot more passing here from White Bear Lake.
Take a look at that extra point, just barely over the crossbar. They all count the same on the stat sheet.
I think Vikings fans know about field goals counting most.
We'll see what the Bears can do here with just over 10 minutes left to play. Is back ready to receive for the Bears is Fidel De Leon Paramo on one side and Aiken on the other. And the kick. And it'll be Fidel from the 15 as he takes it up across the 30, the 35, and a nice return up across the 40 as De Leon Paramo with a nice return to get the Bears some good starting field position. We'll see if they can build on it.
Yeah, they got field position now at the 41.5 yard marker. They are 42 there. They're going to have position and one deep pass away from setting themselves up and scoring position, so we'll see if they can do that.
You can see a nice run there following the blockers, a couple of holes, and able to get some positive yardage. We'll see what Daniel Lyons and his offense can do. He's got two wide receivers left, two right. He comes over to the right side. It's Russell Schuler, able to pick up a few yardage on the right side. He takes it up to about the 45. And it'll bring up 2nd and 7 for the Bears.
Yeah, continue with those short passes. I mean, eventually they might get one to go yards after contact after he catches it. We'll see.
Greibel met in the backfield, and that'll go for a loss. A nice job by Greibel holding onto the ball as he was nearly met as he received the handoff.
Yeah, John Knoll once again penetrating the backfield, laying some wood, just knocking him down there. Greibel had no chance.
And so it brings up 3rd and 6 for the Bears. As Lyons looks right now across the middle, he finds the receiver Schuler, and it's going to be short of a first down, brings him up near midfield. And again, Bartlett will see if he decides to gamble on 4th down.
I don't think he has a choice here, Jeb. He's got to go for it. I mean, your team's down by 15 with less than 9 to go, and the other team's controlling time of possession.
And that he does go for it. Is again, they audible. They try to get the Cougars to jump offside, have been unsuccessful all night. They changed the call at the line. 2 receivers left, 2 right. Lyons out of the pistol. It's a fake, and he looks to go deep, and there is the face mask as Lyons is taken down. And that's one way of getting a first down, but that was a dangerous looking play as his head was ripped back pretty good there.
Yeah, that was a really bad face mask. There's another penalty out there too, up the field, but this is bad. The refs missed one earlier. They're not going to miss that one.
As the officials come together here to get the calls right, nonetheless, it's going to be a first down, a new set of downs for the Bears.
There's another penalty up the field there. We could see if this offsets. Looks like I think both are on Centennial.
As the head official comes over to let Mr. Bartlett know.
Yeah, it looks like there's probably a defensive pass interference, a defensive holding down the field. Yep. And then there'll also be a face mask here. So they'll take the spot of the foul call.
So quite a bit of action in that last play. We had a face mask, we had defensive holding. So with 8:25 left to play here, the Bears will keep it on the ground and maybe a yard or so on the play. But a good break there after a couple of mislaps by the Cougars. We'll see if the Bears can capitalize now as they make their way into Cougar territory.
Yeah, they need to get something going. You know, you got a call to go your way, and
again, a fake by Lyons. He airs it out right side down the field, but the intended receiver, Logan Fike, I don't think ever picked up the ball in the air, and that one goes incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd and 9 from the 39 with just under 8 minutes left to play. The Bears need to answer here.
Yeah, Lyons knew once that left his hand that was way overthrown, and he's mad at himself. You know, watch that tape and know exactly what he did wrong. But let's see if he can bounce back. This is 4-down territory. They're going to go for it here. Let's see if they can do maybe 2 quick passes. I think they do a slant over the middle here.
Again, 2 receivers left, 2 right. Lyons looks left, comes back to the right. Again, he throws it across the middle, and it's caught down and around. Taken down at about the 5, and a big catch by Russell Schuler. And the Bears move the chains, 1st and 10. White Bear.
Not only a beautiful catch by Schuler right here, you'll see once he gets this in the basket and he goes on the run, he gets absolutely leveled. It was a beautiful job to hold on to the ball.
And so the Bears now try to punch it in as Greibel up and across, maybe picks up a yard. As he's taken down at about the 7. And White Bear Lake with some good momentum, 7.5 left to play as they look to answer here.
The sideline's been quiet. The crowd's been quiet. That pass woke them up. Let's see if they can continue to get behind their team. Let's see if they can catch up.
Again now, the handoff. It's kept held on by Lyons. He takes it in and a touchdown. White Bear Lake as Danny Lyons punches it in from 6 yards out.
Yeah, Lyons would not be stopped right there. He made the moves. He did that play himself. He found the holes. He read the defense the right way, and he got in there.
take another look. The fake to Greibel draws the D, and then it's all Danny Lyons as he punches it in from 6 out.
Yeah, I tell you what, Jeb, Lyons has looked so impressive today. Whether it's throwing the ball, I mean, he's had some great passes. He's had some overthrows, but I mean, I think the pros outweighed the cons. And if you're Coach Bartlett, you got a guy that you could ride maybe the rest of the year.
Absolutely. Got to be happy with the play. Like you said, very poised tonight. Has done a lot of positive things. It's certainly the leader of this White Bear Lake football team as they look to add the extra point. The hold is good. The kick is up, and it is good. 21-13 now. The Bears trail. 7 minutes and 14 seconds left here in this fourth quarter.
White Bear Lake's down by 8. They had 3 timeouts. They don't need them just yet. I think they need to stop right away, that is for sure, because or else Centennial will do what they've been doing all game, just taking that clock down, using all the time they can, and just running the ball up the gut.
And like we talked about, they got to stack the box. If you are the Bears, make Coop use his arm, in which he's really been ineffective for the most part tonight, John.
Yeah, you said that exactly right, Jeb. I mean, Coop, he hasn't showed any display of accuracy tonight at all. You make the guy beat you in the air, stop it on the ground, stack the box. They have bigger offensive linemen than your defensive linemen. Put some more backers in there and stop them.
Absolutely.
Simple as that. I don't know, it's not that simple, but you got what I mean.
We'll see if the Bears can do just that as we get set to kick. Cougars back to receive, and the kick is off. And it's a good booming kick all the way down to the 10. It's fielded there. They'll do an end around to Driscoll as he takes it up. And a good coverage that time by the Bears as he's taken down just across the 25, down at the 26. 7:08 left to play. And Ryan Koob and the Cougars will try to burn out the clock here as they hold on to an 8-point lead, 21-13.
Yeah, once again, they do that handoff on the kickoff return, and once again, I don't think it really worked all too much. I get it keeps the kick defensive coverage on their toes, but it's really not working that much. Great job by White Bear Lake to stay home.
We'll see if the defense can come up with another huge stop here, potentially a turnover, but nonetheless, try to get the ball back in the hands of Daniel Lyons and see if he can take one home here in front of this hometown crowd on opening night. And they keep it on the ground. Again, it's Bonfee with a good run up the right side, able to pick up some good positive yardage for the Cougars, and that'll bring 2nd and 5 for Centennial.
Yeah, I think Centennial's just going to ride the coattails of Bonfee. I mean, this kid can't be stopped. The yards after contact that he has had tonight has to be a lot.
It's been impressive, and again, we talked about his stature, only 5'8", but 200 pounds and some tree trunks for legs, and it's certainly shown that he can take a hit and continue to move and push ahead.
Yeah, because he just looks straight stocky. He's not like offensive lineman, 200 pounds big. Like, he is just built.
And a false start here on the Cougars, and so that'll back them up. That's a good break for the Bears. 6.5 left to play. It'll make for a little bit longer yardage now for Centennial. We'll see if the Bears can continue to find that ever so needed defensive stop.
Yeah, that false start pretty much just negates Bonfee's 5-yard run, and now you start right back where you started, and it gives White Bear Lake exactly what they needed, and all they need is 2 stops before you get there. I mean, you're not going to go for it on 4th down at your own near 35-yard line. I mean, that's a penalty that really kills Centennial's momentum.
As the White Bear Lake band tries to get this crowd fired up. 2nd and 10 from the 28. Just over 6 minutes left to play. And Centennial leads at 21-13 as Koob now looks left, throws right. And that one looked like it may have skipped the ground. It did. It's incomplete. It's going to bring up 3rd and 10, John.
Yeah, once again, make a beat in the air. I mean, that he had a wide receiver. I would say he was open enough. He should have at least hit him at least in the knees or in the in the lower half, and he didn't even come anywhere near completing that pass. So, I mean, but now I'm going to guess I'll guess they'll run it again with Bonfee in order to take some time off the clock here.
And he skipped one over to him like we seen Donovan McNabb do a few years back.
Yeah, with the Vikings there towards the end, the Redskins at the end of his career.
3rd and 10 from the 28. They got 3 receivers left, 1 right. Coop drops back. They set up the screen.
Oh, they got the
Far
blockers.
side, they got the blockers downfield, and he's taken down at about the 35. It's going to be short of the first down. A nice open field tackle as Renicky had plenty of room, but a huge stop by the Bears. We'll see what the Cougars decide to do with 4th and short.
Wow, if you're Centennial, that was the perfect draw up. You had all the blockers right in front of the running back here out for the screen, and McElmurray just sticks his arm out there and he gets it. I mean, if he did not put his arm out, that guy would still be running to the end zone.
It looks like the Cougars will decide to gamble themselves. No, they're going to punt. 4th and 3. They're going to let their defense stand. Fair catch called. It's bounced around, but Aiken able to jump back on it. A good heads up by Aiken as it nearly got away from him. So a little over 5 minutes left to play, and the Bears will start from their own 30 as they trail by 8.
I think, Coach Bartlett putting all that, faith into Lyons, as their quarterback. This might pay off on this drive. He's got the confidence. He knows Coach trusts him on 4th down, and he's trusted him all game in order to get the big plays, and it's been working. It's got to build your confidence. If you're a quarterback, and you need to have confidence in order to drive your team down about 70 yards to tie this game up.
And certainly they have some confidence and also some momentum. Got the crowd on their side. 5:07 left to play. 1st and 10 from the 30. As Lyons looks to the sidelines for the call. Got 2 receivers left, 2 right, and Greibel in the backfield. Again, it's a handoff to Greibel. He kicks it off to the right side, able to pick up some yards down at about the 35. It's a pickup of 5, and it'll bring up 2nd and 5 for the Bears, under 5 minutes left to play.
Yeah, if you're White Bear Lake, you're in no rush. You just keep picking up yards, drive down the field. You have 3 timeouts, so even if you go 3 and out, you still can get the ball back, but just continue to do what's been working for you all game. The short passes, the pump fakes deep. One of these are going to hit, and maybe you'll get down the field.
This time they go Greibel in the backfield, 3 receivers left, 1 right. And again, it's a hand up the middle for Greibel. He's able to pick up the first down and some. Moving the chains are the White Bear Lake Bears. That's a first down.
Yeah, Greibel finding room where he hasn't found room all day. I think, the Centennial defense is expecting pass or some short passes here, so the defense is a little spread out, and now you target the middle. 2 runs, 2 first downs, 4:26 left to go, plenty of time.
Yeah, that brings the Bears now up to the 44. It's 1st and 10, 4:26 left to play. Again, 3 receivers left, 1 right. Greibel in the backfield. And Lyons out of the pistol. And this time again, it's a handoff, a little bit of a miscommunication. Greibel able to hold on and get back to the line of scrimmage, but John, nearly a turnover there, but that could have been costly for the Bears.
I think anybody watching that was holding their breath right there. Greibel didn't look like he had a good handle of it. I mean, you look at that, that's just resting on his elbow. No real grasp on the ball. I think that was all like pressure right there, and he's lucky he didn't get hit harder, because or else he would have probably lost the ball.
2nd and 9 now from the 45, 3:45 left to play. Lyons kicks it out to Aiken, left side. He's got some room, and he takes it up across midfield down at the 50. And that's going to bring up a 3rd down for the Bears right at midfield. Still have 3 timeouts, 3.5 left to play.
Yeah, nice tackle by Driscoll. If he didn't catch him, he would still be running. So, I've seen Driscoll, he's made a couple great defensive stops.
Lyons now looks out to the right, dumps it out over the middle, but it's just out of the reach of Aiken. And that's going to bring up a 4th down, and Bartlett more than likely is going to gamble here, I would imagine.
Yeah, he had him open. I don't know if the defender was in the way that caused him to throw the ball away. Nope, just a simple mispass there by Lyons.
And Aiken going one way and Lyons the other way. Brings up a 4th down. 4th and 4 right at midfield. Bartlett shouting out the calls. They got 2 receivers left, 2 right. They swing it out to the left side, able to pick up the first down for the Bears. So again, the 4th down gamble pays off for Bartlett and the Bears.
I mean, Lyons' nickname after this game might be the 4th down man or something. I mean, geez, this guy is absolutely impressive. Poised, finds the open man. He doesn't short arm it. He throws it right where the receiver needed it in order to run upfield, and this kid is impressive.
First and 10 from the 43, and now this time Greibel back to pass, wide open, 10, the 5, touchdown! Bears on the trickery.
Oh,
Lions
my
to
Lord.
Greibel, and Greibel with the pass, and a big touchdown for the Bears. 2-point ball game, Johnny.
Well, this is absolutely impressive here. You see that? You'll see right here, Greibel gets the handoff. He bombs it, gives his receiver enough time to get under it. Beautiful pass, nothing but wide open spaces for the touchdown after that. Let's see if they get the 2-point conversion, but absolutely impressive drive. Great call up there by the offensive coordinator. Gotta love it.
Blake Charles able to answer, and now in the end zone, and they complete the 2-point. There is a flag on the play, but the 2-point conversion is completed. The catch by Logan Fike, and just like that, with just under 3 minutes, we're all knotted up.
Is your heart beating, Jeb? This is insane. What a beautiful call. Great job by White Bear Lake to stay in the game. Not to get their heads down, but to come back. Another little bit of trickery right here, and they get it. Beautiful. You couldn't have asked for those trick plays to work any better.
And again, it was Blake Charles able to come down with it. Both the touchdown reception and the 2-point conversion. It's so Charles, who had one drop out of the breadbasket on a couple of plays earlier that could have went for a big touchdown, ends up coming up huge here with just under 3 minutes left to play. Able to make the catch for the touchdown and then the 2-point conversion to tie.
Yeah, Charles just using that big body Mike Evans liked in order to get that ball, defensive rebound. We saw that a lot last year with Matamida at Andy Voyen. They just threw him up the ball, and he would come down with it. You got a 6-foot-something frame, 6'2", 6'3". You should come down with that ball. And he did exactly that. And you got to love that he didn't get down after he dropped maybe a would-be touchdown earlier in the game. And he catches that one to tie the game up. This is a ball game.
What an opening night, huh? A picture-perfect, beautiful evening to start. And the Bears, who trailed by as many as 15 on their last 2 possessions, able to punch them in and tie this one up with a 2-point conversion. And we're all knotted up, 21-21, with just under 3 left to play. The Bears will kick off down to the Cougars. And John, all the momentum right now on the hometown Bears.
Yeah, the band's going crazy. The kick is deep. This is going to be a touchback.
And that is a booming kick, best one we've seen tonight. As the adrenaline through the leg, it sends it into the end zone. The Cougars will start from their own 20, and we'll see what Mr. Koob and the Cougars can do.
Yeah, what you're got to be scared for if you're a White Bear Lake fan or a White Bear Lake player is that there's 3 minutes left. And Bonfie can just keep running the ball, and they can grind the rest of this clock down, maybe even set themselves up for a field goal or maybe even get a touchdown. I don't know. It's scary, but with all the momentum right now, the defense is amped up. The kicker was amped up. He kicked that one in the end zone. We'll see if the defense continues to show up here.
I think the defense needs to stick to the same game plan, stack the box, and make Koob throw. And first here, they keep it on the ground. It's an option. It's kicked out to the right side. And he's met right there. Some yardage picked up. A good starting play for the Cougars as they take it up just across the 30. And that may have been enough to move the chains. I think it's a first down for the Cougars right at the 30.
Yeah, that was a nice triple option read there by Coop, and able to get the ball in the wide receiver's hands, who would have the best room to run the ball. I mean, they knew that White Bear Lake was going to stack the box, and somebody didn't contain right there. They had a wide open lane to do it. I mean, the best thing for White Bear Lake is that the guy ran out of bounds.
2:50 left to play. It stops the clock. It's 1st and 10 now from the 30. There's a man in motion. And now Koob again. Out of the pistol, 2 receivers right. And they keep it on the ground. This time it's Koob off the right side. And again, he's able to pick up 7, maybe 8. As they continue to chew away that clock. 2:40 and change as the Cougars away to 3rd down and short.
You'll see this. They bring in the wide receiver to come in and help block. Bonfie does the rest. He's got some wide open lane. Coop took that. He faked the handoff and bounced it to the outside. I think they're going to continue to exploit the outside containment. I mean, we talked about White Bear Lake stacking the box, but it looks like they're more stacked in the middle for Bonfie. I mean, if Coop can keep running it outside, I mean, White Bear Lake's not going to be able to stop it.
This time they send a receiver far left. Again, they put a man in motion. They keep it on the ground, and it's off to the right side. Kuba able to pick up the first down near midfield. He continues to move the chains. It's a new set of downs. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 50 with just under 2 minutes left to play.
Yeah, like I said, White Bear Lake made the adjustment. They stacked the box on the inside, but they're not keeping outside containment. Nobody's stepping up to stop the outside run, and Centennial is going to keep exploiting that, and unless somebody really steps up here.
We'll see if they can find a way to stop this power running attack. Is 1st and 10 from the 50. Again, Koob out of the pistol. Man in motion is Stewart. And this time Koob will hold it himself, and he's met right at the top of the B. A nice defensive play by the Bears. No gain on the play.
Yeah, I'm not Koob. I don't know what he was seeing back there, but I think he should have pitched the ball. I think the guy had a lot more room to run. This was Koob just trying to do a little too much himself, or he really didn't have time to pitch it, thanks to the penetration there by White Bear Lake.
Good gang tackling by the Bears. It brings up 2nd and 10 right there at the 50 midfield. 1:10 left to play. The Cougars trying to go down with the last-second game winner. Again, it's kept on the ground. Bonfie's met, and an awesome job tackling by the Bears, as it's going to bring up 3rd and long with under a minute left to play, John.
Yeah, it's going to set up 3rd and 6. I mean, they're going to need a stop right here. Great tackling. You know, once again, Bonfie getting those extra yards after contact. That could make a difference here on this play. Instead of 3rd and 8 or 3rd and 9, it's 3rd and 6. So we'll see. I mean, we know they're not going to pass it.
From the 47 now, 2 receivers right. A lot of protection in with Koob. They send a man in motion, and again, right up the gut. And they are met right there. It's going to be short of the first down. And now the Cougars are going to have some decisions to make here on 4th down.
This game's going to go into overtime, Jeb.
As the final seconds tick away, 15 seconds left, and clock's running. And what a better way to open up opening night than
yeah, the players are wondering why White Bear Lake called the timeout. I mean, even if maybe they're going to set themselves up for a punt here. I don't know what was really going through Coach Bartlett's head. No, Centennial called the timeout.
Interesting to see what they dial up here. Just only 1.1 seconds left.
Yeah, I think Centennial set themselves up for one last play in the end zone. 4th down. They called that timeout. I don't know. I think that's what. I don't know if you're White Bear Lake. If you're Coach Bartlett, I think you need to call one timeout because you had 20 seconds left. They might not even try this play if you call that timeout. You had 3 to burn. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
It'll be interesting to see as we're going to go down to the final play here. See if the Bears can keep the Cougars out of the end zone and send this one to overtime.
We were talking about some Statue of Liberties earlier. Maybe we can see a little shades of Boise State or something here. Some old school trickery.
Now we've seen the Bears come up with a couple of trick plays to push this to a tie. We'll see what Centennial has up their sleeve as we get set to a final play in regulation here.
Nick, we talk about how gutsy those calls were. 2 trick plays, your team's down. You need to score a touchdown, a 2-point conversion. You call it 2 trick plays. They both work. Well, we'll definitely have those highlights on Sports Path, win or lose.
Not to mention the 4th down conversions time and time again. 3 or 4 of them where Bartlett gambled and it paid off. Here it is, the final play. Koob now drops back. Everyone heads to the end zone. On the run, he throws one up. Knocked down, and it's incomplete.
Oh, there's a roughing the passer here. Looks like they're going to get one more shot.
Tough break there is 52 of the Bears.
Holding on Centennial.
Well, then they got away with one.
The way the White Bear Lake player came up, it looked like he thought he got called for a penalty.
And so that's going to send us to overtime, all knotted up at 21 apiece. And for a last-second play, I wasn't too tricked out.
No, he was lucky it didn't get picked off.
And so we'll get set for our overtime as soon as both teams get lined up here. The officials out at the middle of the field. what a great opening night game as the Bears battle back, down 15 at one point. The final 2 possessions, able to knot it up at 21 and get the fans back into it. Couldn't ask for a better opening night for high school football to kick off 2017.
No, you really can't, Jeb. And I don't know what it is about calling games with you, but it seems every game we've called has went into overtime. You know, sometimes I've called some boring games when I'm not with you. But with you, it seems we get some there down to the wire. Both teams have looked impressive tonight. It's been a really good game. And let's see who comes out on top and starts the season 1-0. Let's see if White Bear Lake can get their first win, and all our SEC TV fans would like to see that here in the White Bear Lake area, not so much for Centennial. So let's see if they can pull this out.
Absolutely, and very impressive by the Bears. You know, it's tough. You go on a winless season last year. A lot of these guys on that team and it, you know, suffered defeat all season, and to come out and just grind away, come out hot early to start. A little sluggish after halftime, but found a way to battle back, get that momentum, and now, you know, they're in an overtime game. You got to be happy by the way the hometown Bears have played tonight.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, Jeff. And also, I mean, you swap these two teams. I think the Metro North is a lot weaker than the Metro East is. The Metro East has some, I mean, Totino Grace is there, but I think the Metro North is a lot weaker. Metro East is stacked pretty much top to bottom. You put these two teams, and maybe it's Centennial that was winless last year. I mean, they only won 4 games. They had a losing season. They did win a section playoff game. Both these teams lost to Rosemount in the sections. White Bear Lake in the first round, Centennial in the second round.
Yeah, we take a look at those standings from last year. You can see you talked about Totino Grace. But, yeah, Centennial, middle of the pack, ended up finishing 500. And you're right, John. I think you put the Bears there and Centennial in the East standings. You never know. Maybe it'd be the Cougars that suffered defeat all season.
Yeah, I definitely don't think they would win 4 games. You know, but these are two totally different teams. We'll see what happens. I mean, this White Bear Lake team, they showed up today. You know, they didn't let last year affect them and how they played tonight. You know, but a lot of games they lost last year, they were blown out in 2 games. I think it was East Ridge and Mounds View. Every other game they lost by under 10 points. So they were in every single game. And now they need to find a way to win those games instead of lose them. And I think that comes with coaching experience, player experience within the scheme.
See if they can find a way to win as we approach overtime. 21-21, all knotted up. And it looks like the Bears will get the first possession here from the 10. And so some excitement right off the bat when it comes to high school overtime rules.
Yeah, like college, it said the 40, you start at the 10. Both teams will get the ball.
And so it's Lions with a handoff to Greibel up the middle. And he'll get some positive yardage to start. It'll bring up 2nd and short.
I like what White Bear Lake's been doing with that play. You know, they spread it out the whole game. They ran outside, they ran off tackle, they threw slant passes, they opened up the middle in order for Greibel to run up there.
Again, now Lions with the handoff to Greibel. This time he's met in the backfield, and he's taken down. Looks to be like a loss. It's going to bring up 3rd and 5, maybe 3rd and 6. And we'll see what Bartlett and the Bears decide to do.
Look for a slant pass, I'm going to guess here, Jeb. Or Lyons going to take this himself.
Let's see if Danny Lyons again. They come up big here with a big 3rd and 8 from the 8. Cougar crowd starting to get on their feet, looking for a shutdown stop, and it's a botched play there as the snap came. Lions was not ready for it. A tough break there for the Bears as they're going to lose a few on the play, and it's going to bring up, I believe, a 4th and 11. You see here, John, just a little miscommunication.
Yeah, it looks like, you know, he was looking at the running back. Center snapped it right in between his ankles. It wasn't even a good snap, if that. Definitely a miscommunication there between quarterback and center.
4th down, now Lyons looks to the sidelines. He's got 3 receivers right, 1 left.
They're
going to have to call timeout.
I think they're going to drop a play and throw it up to one of their big wide receivers. That's all you can hope for out here. 4th and 12. Lions has been producing for you all day. Let's see if they can happen again.
And take a look at that miscommunication there, and a tough break is now they're looking at 4th and 14. And the way the running attack has been for Centennial, you got to get in the end zone here if you're the Bears.
Yeah, they absolutely have to. I mean, either that or they're going to have to make a defensive stop on the other end. But I'd rather get the points, put yourself in position to not, if you don't make a defensive stop, you're still in the game, But like I said, I think they need to do one big pass, just a deep pass. Throw it up to your big wide receivers, Charles. He had that beautiful catch there for the 2-point conversion. Throw it to him, see what happens. What's the worst that happens? He doesn't come down with it. You got to make a defensive stop. Maybe another trick play.
And again, Bartlett's been gambling on 4th down. He's got another crack at it as it brings up 4th and 14.
Well, I think they're kicking the field goal here, Jeb.
They're looking for the safety points, it looks like. I suppose getting on the board's better than nothing.
Well, if he makes this, we've seen that the Centennial kicker hasn't. He did miss an extra point earlier. Centennial kicker barely made an extra point.
And the snap is up, and the kick is blocked. Tough break for the Bears. It's the second time that the defense for the Cougars has been able to penetrate. And a kick, not enough air under it.
That's a second block kick today. You know what, Jeb? I really don't like that call. It's high school. The kickers are not good. You don't leave the game up to your kicker at the end of the game. You should have done a slant. You should have threw it up to your big guys. Do what's been working for you all game. You don't leave it up to the guys who've been on the field all game, not a kicker who, has missed 2 kicks now. I mean, it just...
No, I'd have to agree with you, John. I think Danny Lyons has been your rock star all night on the offensive side of the ball. He's been finding a way to make plays, whether it's with his feet or with his arm. And you kind of take the ball out of Danny Lyons' hands when you put it onto the foot of a kicker. And on the flip side, Centennial's got to go 10 yards. I think you got to get in the end zone opposed to the 3 points.
I want to guess Bonfie's. I'd watch Bonfie the whole way, or maybe they'll fake it to Bonfie. Either way, I think it's going to be tough for White Bear Lake to stop him 10 yards.
Koob now will keep it himself up the middle. He's met there and taken down at about the 4. And it'll bring up 2nd and short. We'll see if the Bears, again, can find a way to make a stop and maybe create a turnover.
See, Koob taking that one himself, but now if you're White Bear Lake, you have 3 plays to stop them from going 3.5 yards or 4 yards. That's going to be awful tough when Bonfie's been tearing you up for 5 yards to carry, even after getting hit in the backfield. This is going to be tough. And if they can do it, I mean, all on them. But this is going to show where White Bear Lake is at.
It brings up 2nd and 5 here for the Cougars as they break the huddle. The Bears looking for a big stop. Again, Koob out of the pistol. They keep it in tight. Koob keeps it himself. Down to the line. Waiting on the call.
He's down at the half-yard line there.
And they're going to have him just short. And so it's going to come to 3rd and inches.
If you're White Bear Lake, you send the house. Send a guy in every gap. Make them beat you on the outside. Hit them in the backfield before they can even make a toss or even read the option. Send the house. That's what I would do. You have nothing to lose, or else you're not going to stop a quarterback sneak up the middle. See, I think they're already spread out too much.
See if the Bears can find a stop, and timeout. The Cougars decide to call a timeout. We take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Cougars, John.
Yeah, you got a very tough Totino Grace. I'm going to guess it's not going to be a close game in that one. But then they have Anoka, St. Michael, Albertville, 2 teams in Osseo that they can beat 3 teams in a row. We'll see what happens. And they end with, Metro East, Eastridge. They got a tough slate. I mean, they didn't win very many games last year. It'll be tough. It'll be tough sledding for them. Every game's going to be rough.
That'll be interesting to see if Koob can get on the same page with some of his receivers, because tonight, again, it was more of him doing it with his feet. We took a look at the Bears again. We've talked about it all night. Unfortunately, couldn't find a win last year. They played phenomenal tonight. Hopefully, can find a way to make a stop. But they go to Osseo next week, and then on to take home here to take on the tough Eastridge Raptors.
Yeah, Osseo 2-5 last year in this Metro North, the same place that Centennial's in. So even if White Bear Lake does lose this game, I think they have a very beatable team that they could beat next week, and let's hope they pull this one out.
And so 3rd and 1 from inches away. They do give it to Bonfie, and he punches it in, and that'll do it. The Centennial Cougars come on in to White Bear Lake Stadium, and they sneak one by the Bears as Bonfie, who's been tough all night, It's tough to stop from only inches away.
Yeah, Jeb, I mean, like we said, you put the ball in Bonfie's hands, he got inches to go, he's not going to be stopped. It's just plain and simple. But if you're White Bear Lake, you build off of this. You're so close. You had the game within your grasp, and you just build off of this. Nice handoff to Bonfie. He was in when he got the handoff. He was that close. So great game by White Bear Lake. Great game for Centennial. Great game to start the year for, just to even watch. Fun all around.
Absolutely. A phenomenal game. Unfortunately, it didn't go the way of the hometown Bears, but a good one nonetheless to kick off the 2017 football season. From all of us here at SEC Sports, thanks so much for joining us. The final tonight, the Centennial Cougars 27, the hometown White Bear Lake Bears 21. From John Miller, I'm Jeb Brand. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.